Well. It's time for another open court discussion live in the Counselor's Corner with myself, David Lorenzo Glover, aka the Controversial Counselor, and Herb Lewis, the Big Bad Wolf, streaming live on Facebook and YouTube. Please like and share this video along with subscribing to my YouTube channel, The Controversial Counselor. Last Monday, we had an all-male panel to discuss the topic, why are some men opting out of dating single mothers? Man, oh man, it was a lot of people upset. A lot of women were upset, even some guys. And then when I ran it back with the watch party, they was definitely tripping the next day too. So that was major. Can we say an outright heat up? Well, tonight we will be discussing 3 essential talking points. So we're going back to the 3 essential talking points we had a month long of February with the self-improvement. Then we had followed up with a couple. Then we came back in March. I forgot what the first episode was about. 10 reasons why women will remain single. And then we had the all-male panel, or why are some men opting out of dating single mothers. So here are the 3 essential talking points. Male-female relationships. What has changed from our parents' era? And certainly it has been some changes. And we're going to discuss some of them, and you'll have the option to join the panel or make sure you comment in the chat. Number 2, why does it seem like black men and black women have a vendetta towards each other? Like I did in my promo videos, so much bickering back and forth, so much the blame game. He doesn't do this. He ain't about shit. She don't do this. And it's just back and forth commentary between the both of us, but we're supposed to be trying to build a nation, build our homes, build our communities. We got a long way to go. We got a long damn way to go. Long damn way to go. And number 3, why fake jacks and create an image of someone that you are not? It's that time. It is really that time. They like, people, the states are letting up on the pandemic, the COVID-19, opening up more things. So we already know people got to come out brand new. Some people haven't really been out in this past year. And when they come out, they got to have their hairdos, got to get the nails done, their feet done, eyebrows, eyelashes. The guys got to say, oh, I got a little gray in me, whatever. It's time to turn it, make this jet black so I can catch. And the edge ups, it's gonna be wild. So people are gonna be coming out. But when you start looking like something that you're not, or you meet up with someone and then you peel them layers off, and people say, Tiffany, is that you? That's an issue. So we need to break that down. Hello, everybody who joined us. Kim, Marita, Anita, and some people I can't see unless I check my phone and it just say Facebook user, and I know that's because I'm streaming from both places. So those are the 3 things we're going to cover tonight. So again, we got plenty room on the couch tonight to come join the Counselor's Corner. So I don't know, Herb posted the link. So if you feel like, I already got something to say, click on the link and come on in and let's get at it. So that's that. And before I bring in Herb, today, was actually the first day in over a year that we had students in the building. Guess what? We had a whole whopping 4 students. 4 came back today. So, and those were the autistic kids. Next week we had the 6th graders, and then after that, April 6th, we have the 7th and 8th graders. So trying to get back into the feel of things. It's been today kind of felt kind of surreal, kind of felt awkward to, have students come back and it's only 4 kids in the building and there's not the noise, the ruckus. So it still kind of feel weird, but that's what I got in store and can't wait for we start getting back to capacity and I start getting some of that middle school drama, that middle school madness. I love that. That's what keep me going. That's what keep me young. It may stress me out a little bit, I get grayer and grayer, but that's one thing that I look forward to. So Herb, what's good, man?
I'm gonna start with a little musical montage for the old school heads. Sitting here in this chair, waiting on you to see things my way. Ooh, baby, but not a word do you say. You don't even look my way. I'm sitting here, spending my dime, wasting my time, talking till I'm black and blue. Or can't you see that I want to get next to you? I try and figure out where we went wrong, and I don't know. I try and figure out what can we do to bridge the gap between the genders. Now, as you just alluded to, the gender war, if you will, is raging. Some people think it's over, some people think it isn't. Wherever you stand, it's always going to depend on your perspective and what your current situation is. So I'm not here to tell anybody, what your situation is. Your situation is what your situation is. But where do we start? Because when David posted the promo, it got me to thinking. Our culture from when we were
Hold
kids.
on 1 second. Can you guys hear like two? Because I can hear like a delay and I can hear whoever's talking.
No, the volume on my phone is off.
Yeah, my volume is down too, so I don't hear.
It could be what are you listening? What are you listening on? Computer or phone?
I'm on the computer.
Do you have StreamYards and YouTube playing? Because if you have one of them playing, just mute the one. No, because I don't hear any background noise. Just myself and Dave when you speak, and you when you speak.
Somebody else said no problem here. Sound like a Anita thing.
So I started sitting down and I started looking at all the cultural variations or the differences between now and when I was in my prepubescent and in my pubic years, and I'm looking at all the shows I used to watch as a kid. Good Times, Jefferson's, Fantasy Island, and then I look at the things that we used to do. Go roller skating, Furbs, or Carousel out where the Fashion Outlet Mall currently sits. Fantasy Island, which happens to actually be the name of a TV show, and if you're not familiar with the Niagara Falls area, there was also a theme park named Fantasy Island. And Fantasy Island, when you got to go there as a kid, that was just like, that was it. It was like, we getting ready to go to Fantasy Island, man. We were all packing out. My aunt station wagon, back where she had the fold down bucket seats, man, where you could fit 6 people in it. And it was just always joy. Even when we were living with the impoverished rate or the way that we were, it was always fun. It was always something to do. We didn't see the infighting. At least I didn't see it. Maybe some other people's home life was different, but I never saw the infighting between mothers, fathers. I didn't see it. So I'm trying to figure out, where that went to. We no longer see the Sunday dinner. Experience the Sunday dinner, see the Sunday dinner. So that type of camaraderie, it just seems to be gone. So I just want to ask a couple of questions, and people, you can, answer these whenever you want to or however you want to. If you had to give something intangible to the opposite gender, what would it be and why? And question number 2 is I want you to think back on a childhood memory that made you happy or it brings a smile to your face now. And those are just things I want you to keep in mind as we kick this show off and we start to talk about these issues. Go ahead, Dave.
Well, if you want me to answer that, I don't know if I have an answer. One thing that you said what I would give to the opposite gender.
Yes, intangible.
Tangible. Just the ability to understand the importance of being a cohesive unit, understanding, and that goes both ways. That we all have. Granted, you could be in a relationship, and you could be a couple, but both parties probably have their own things that move them, and I think patience and understanding is pivotal for both genders. And I think once you have those things, then things can come together. But if one person's not doesn't have those goals, or doesn't have that passion for something, or that drive, it's always going to be an imbalance to me. So it's always going to be some type of bickering back and forth, which causes a lot of dissension and causes a lot of stress. It's stress. So that's one thing.
And I agree. And I was thinking along the same lines as understanding and patience. And I think often with the demands that we collectively have on our time, whether it's taking care of the kids, making sure homework is done, dealing with work, and now that we have COVID and just essentially just being an anchor or an albatross around the country's collective, that whether to take the vaccine or whether not, or I mean, there's so much going on that I think the people that we need to rely on most, we can't, just because we have run thin on patience, and we haven't found out, or we don't know. I don't even know if finding out is really the right word. We don't know how to deal with stress in a manner that helps to alleviate it as a compounding. And what I mean by this, you have a bad day at work. What's the first thing you do when you come home? If your mate asks you how your day was, do you say, you know what, I'm glad it's over, I'm glad I'm home so I can just sit back and unwind, or do you unwind on them? And I think that's a critical point that we don't sometimes understand how to decompress from a bad day at work. Now, my situation is a little different because I come home and there's nobody here, so I don't have to worry about anybody asking me how my day was, or what could they do to make it better. Sometimes I just really want to be left alone, just to allow for the natural decompression. And some people aren't like that. And it's like you always say, KYP, know your personnel. And I think often when we're in that phase of dating, we don't ask those type of questions. We don't ask, what do you do when you have a bad day and you get home and something's just irritating you?
Well,
we don't. Go ahead.
One of the things I want to say, when you said sometimes you just want to be left alone, I remember when I did that survey a couple weeks ago, I think more than 50% of people said they rather be alone. They like to be left alone. So that says a lot. But I want you to hold your thought, Herb, because I don't like to be rude. I got two ladies on here.
Sure.
They definitely need the opportunity to voice themselves, because they sitting on a lot, especially since last Monday when they were not permitted to come on. So I'm sure they got something to say. So good evening, Anita. Good evening, Lakia. So Anita, you were on here first. So everything he said, childhood memory, or one of the things that you would like to pass on to the other gender, go ahead and share.
One of the things that I think I would stress importance on in the opposite gender is developing and understanding and building intellectual intimacy. I know I said that a lot because it's important. And not only intellectual intimacy, but intimacy itself and with the emphasis that intimacy does not mean sex itself, which people get, a lot of people get confused about that. And one of my childhood memories, it would have to be on North Avenue. It makes me laugh. It makes me laugh. I don't know if anybody remembers Mrs. Turk, the bus aide. She was mean and loud. I was scared of her.
I don't know if it's the same one, but I remember one. She's like, "Get your feet out of here!" I just remember
Mrs. Turk.
Oh, that's her?
I don't know why I remember Mrs. Turk, but I mean, I think those days were so simple. And the makes me smiles because one, I had a backyard to play in, and it was simple. Like we didn't have a lot of money. We had our own house, but we didn't have, tons of money to buy tons of toys, which I didn't even care. But we made like mud pies and had tea parties out of mud. Like we used our creative imagination to make stuff happen, instead of having actual money to buy toys, and it was already there. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, we were creative back then, and we used our imagination, and we entertained ourselves. And nowadays, you have to entertain children, or if they get bored with something, even though they could have $1,000 systems, but they still have the audacity to come out their damn mouths and talk about they're bored after you done spent your hard-earned money, when we were told, boy, go outside and play. Don't come back in here until it's time to eat. And that's what we had to do.
Not only that, but adult business is adult business. My mom would throw a shoe at me when I got sassy. I don't know. Today's kids, I see them acting so crazy in like places like Walmart, and I'm like, how did society get this way? It's like crazy to me. But I think the intellectual intimacy and building a foundation in relationships is important, because a lot of people, they have that sexual chemistry and that passion. So it seems like they want to skip all the getting to know you part because you guys have so much chemistry and passion. But I'm like, I want to get to know you for a while. For me, it may take 4 weeks to get to know you. It may take 6 weeks to get to know you. After that, I may know what kind of person you are to get to the next level. So I think that's pretty important that I would stress in relationships.
All right. Lakia, what's good?
What's good? Good to see everybody.
Mm-hmm.
If you could just repeat the questions. Is it 2 questions? I just want to make sure I heard correctly.
It was just just some general things. They didn't really need to be answered. What I was just driving at is, to get people thinking how they relate to the opposite gender. And one of the things I was asking was, if you had to give an intangible gift to the opposite gender, what would it be and why? And because like Anita just said, when we were in our childhood, when we didn't have the responsibilities that we have now as adults, things were much more simpler then. So I was just, wanted people to think of a time when they were younger that brings a smile to their face, or that was a happier time.
Well, for me, a happy time was as a kid on my grandmother's porch on a swing. She had a swing on her porch, and I would sit there and sometimes even when it would rain, it'd be good just to sit on the porch and just enjoy hearing the rain in a comfortable, safe space. That's what I remember. And I grew up on South Avenue, and it was always kids hanging out, riding bikes, playing, chase, whatever. We were just always having a good time. So that's what I remember. And those are good memories for me.
Oh, South Avenue.
On South Avenue.
The little sister, the little brother of the big North Avenue.
I lived on South Avenue too.
I think we was more lit on South. I think we was more lit.
Stop. Please stop.
So say what you want to say, but I still hold to it. But yeah, but no, it's something else that but you're saying giving like as a something I would give to intangible to the other opposite sex.
Yes.
One of the things I was thinking, and let me know if I'm off, but I was thinking I would say it's okay to tap into your feminine chromosome, being more sensitive, being okay to be vulnerable, being okay with just
But
being
no, 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 no,
open.
no, 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 no.
No.
You have to give it to them.
Oh,
they can't do it. You have to give it to them.
oh, okay. Okay. Thank you for, correcting me. I appreciate that. Okay. So I don't know. Give them it's so many things you could give, but I
Name one.
just maybe to give to the opposite sex,
Sure,
you're saying?
sure.
Well, just honesty. Is that or something like something that I'm like handing them like a gift? Are you saying that way?
Well, what I'm looking at is this. Often we hear one gender say that this individual doesn't understand what it's like to be in this situation, or they don't understand what it's like to have to deal with this. And I think that's part of the reason why David and I said understanding and the ability to have the patience to work in certain situations, because truly the only individual that really knows what's going on in an individual's life is that particular individual. It's the old adage, don't judge a person until you walk a mile in their shoes. So if somebody were to give you the shoes and you had to put them on, but they got holes in them, so every time they walk in the rain or they got to walk in the snow, their socks get wet. So they're already irritated because they have wet socks and they got to go to work and they got to deal with people that are surly. So not only do they have to sit down and they're cold, they may not have had anything to eat, or they may not have had enough to eat, or they just had somebody pass in their family, or any number of things that can occur to an individual in their particular life that doesn't leave them in a good frame of mind to deal with somebody. So they're always upbeat, because they always say if somebody's always smiling, be leery because something's wrong, because nobody can be that happy all the time. Now, I don't know if that's true. Me, I don't operate from a plane of happiness. I always operate from a plane of balance. This is why I always say I'm content. And people always try and admonish me and they say, oh, no, well, why aren't you happy? I say, happiness is fleeting. Happiness is like sadness. They say, if you don't like the weather, wait a few minutes, it'll change. So that's what I'm getting at with that question.
Well, I guess I hope I'm understanding it correctly. Please forgive me, but um, I'm thinking patience, because you were saying that someone come home and they had come home from work and being a little aggy or whatever, and may not want to talk, giving space, being patient, not taking it personal. Because sometimes you can take it, you can internalize it and feel like, well, what's wrong with you? Why are you acting like that? And you internalize it as if you did something wrong. And in actuality, you didn't. They just need that space. They need that time to just unwind and just get that second win. So just get space and patience.
And to follow it up, and I think that's paramount, because we often, it's just like Anita was saying, we get together with a strange individual, and a lot of people. Now, I can't give a percentage, but given the way dating apps are going out right now, the first thing on a lot of people's mind is carnal pleasure. To hell with getting to know you, to hell with trying to figure out, what you like to do, what makes you tick. And I'm not necessarily speaking sexually, just, if you had the opportunity, if you had if you had an unlimited supply of money, what would be the first thing that you do? Do we ask those questions? Do we even care? Do we ask a person who your favorite musical artist is, who your favorite actor is, why is your favorite actress this person, or why is your favorite actor that person, or have you ever did stand-up comedy, or would you ever do stand-up comedy? Would you ever do live theater? Have you ever been to a live theater event? Have you been skiing? Have you done this? Where do you plan on traveling? What are your goals in the next 5 years? What are your goals in the next 10 years? Do you have kids? Why do you have kids? How did you have kids? Do we discuss any of this on first, second, or third dates?
Sometimes, but I think those are all thought-provoking questions that a lot of people aren't prepared to just blurt out an answer.
But it begs the reason why.
Because they haven't really probably thought about sharing that with somebody, that thought with somebody on the first, second, or third date.
Okay, and to that point, and I stress if your body is your temple, the individual, why would you want to share your temple with somebody and not your innermost thoughts? Especially for women, because you're being penetrated. So the natural act of sex itself requires a woman to allow somebody into her in a way that really should be specific for set people, not just random occurrences. So if you're willing to allow somebody to enter into your body, and for a man, the same thing, if you're willing to enter into a woman's body, but not her mind, then what does that ultimately say about what it is that drives you, what it is that connects you to another individual? Is it more physical, or is it mental, or is it a combination of both, but you're willing to do one first before you're willing to engage in the other? See, me, I'll sit there and have these conversations with an individual, but I'm pretty much an open book when it comes to most things. There are some things that I won't share just because I want to see who I'm dealing with. Not everybody that I encounter is going to be qualified to learn certain things about me. That's just how I am. I'm guarded when it comes to certain things, and I'll make that known up front. I don't have a problem with sitting there discussing a lot of different things with somebody. Else some things, hey, that's on a need to know basis. And they'll say, well, why am I not privileged? Because you're not privileged. Maybe one day you'll get there. I don't know. We'll see.
Well, one thing I say, I think it's oh, go ahead, David. I'm sorry.
One thing I think when you think about conversation and opening up, it's for both individuals to have the ability to be a storyteller, so people can connect with your story. They can almost feel that they were there by the way that you describe it, and that's a way of connecting with individuals. If you just talking and you're having a conversation and you're really not understanding where they're going, or you're not engaged, there's not going to be any connection. You're going to be bored out your mind. You're not going to want any more. You're not even going to ask questions because you're like, oh, I got to listen to this one again, this mofo again, or whatever the case is. So I think the ability to be a good storyteller helps create great conversation and laughter and everything else. Just my take.
No, that I think that's true. Like it's engaging in both. Yeah, and I believe for most women, and I believe like as a woman, and Anita, you can, correct me if you feel different, that it is mental for women as well. It's physical and mental. We like to, a man that feeds us and talks to us and that, shares himself with us in a way that showing vulnerability, showing that they care. It having great conversation about things that you're passionate about, things that he's passionate about, and you just find yourself being pulled in because of the energy and the vibe that you're feeling between in that conversation. Being open, just allowing yourself both being open to having a great conversation, really getting to know each other, not putting on a game face, just being yourself and trusting that is either you being yourself is going to draw and connect with that person, or you're going to find out that you guys just don't have the same interests. And that's how I look at it. It's all based on how the conversation goes. So a man can stimulate me mentally, and it makes me want to give myself to him because I'm like, oh, he's stimulating me because in that way, because any man can give you compliments and it doesn't move me because it's like, okay, it's a compliment. I know who I am. I know I'm beautiful. I know I'm a good woman. But can you take me to another place that where I'm at? Are you on that same level? And that's where I believe it brings that conversation to life.
I agree with that. And also to that, it's the way somebody talks to you.
Yeah.
Like their tone of voice, their nonverbal cues, their body language. Some people, I don't know how to explain this, but if you if you're joking around with a woman that you like, dark humor, or I call it locker room talk, is not the way to go most of the time, because it is such a turnoff, and it will ruin my whole thought process about somebody. Like I'll think in my head, I want to make this dude some dinner and we're going to sit down and watch a movie and all this, but if he says something offline, I'm just totally shut down and turn off. I'm like, it just, I can't even get, turning a woman on is a 24/7 job, I think.
And let me add to it, and again, I've said this before, laughter. If I can't laugh with you and we can't crack up, we ain't got shit to talk about. Seriously, we don't have nothing to talk about. If I can't laugh and I can't, after a hectic day at work, well, I can't even say hectic because I get a lot of laughter at work when kids are in the building. I can care less about the adults in the building. When kids are in the building, I can get a lot of laughter. But if I can't laugh with you and I lose that ability to have a sense of humor, we don't have nothing. I don't give a damn what you're talking about. You can be the brightest person, the most professional, intellectual, financial guru, or whatever the case is. But if we can't have that ability to laugh together, and you can have that conversation with some other Poindexter, because it ain't me.
And not only with like dating, but with your friends too. Like, I know some people may have received some silly face pictures of me just to make them laugh. Like, hey, how's your day? Here's a silly selfie of me. You know, like, laughter is important with friends too. Friends, family, any type of relationship, I think.
No question.
Lakia mentioned something that I want to kind of flush out. When you go on a date, how long does it take for you? And this is just an individual question, not pertaining to anyone in particular. How long does it take for you to remove the mask you're wearing, or some people like to call it your representative? How long does it take for the authentic you to emerge, so an individual knows who they're dealing with in reality as opposed to superficially? Because everybody says you're always on your best behavior when you're on dates, especially when you're meeting someone that's new. Me, I'm who I am regardless. So for me, there is no mask, there is no filter unless I'm at work.
I'm me. I like I said, I love who I am. I think I'm a very good, I'm funny, I'm genuine, I'm all around, like, just cool. So I think I'm a type of woman that can connect with anybody. So, because I'm okay, I allow people to be who they are, and we can laugh and have a good time. So just being myself is always one for me, just won people over.
Anita, now you said something that kind of brought this out too. You said you don't like when guys ask certain questions. Do you let them know ahead of time, or is that just something that when they said it's just like an immediate downer?
No, I think what I said was, if they their tone of voice, how they talk to me, how they say certain things, locker room talk. Like, a lot of guys think locker room talk is funny to females. It's not. It's a big turnoff. But if somebody asks me, okay, you're 44 years old, why don't you have kids? Or you're in Iraq, did you kill somebody? Did you shoot at somebody? Those are pretty inappropriate questions until I'm ready to share that. Those are very personal.
Okay, let me jump in here, and let me try and shift the way you perceive that. Granted, yes, but they also realize that's an aspect of who you are. And because they're interested in you, they're asking those questions. They're not asking them to be disruptive. They're asking so they can actually potentially get a glimpse into you. And that's something that
They can get to know me out of casual conversation. Like me personally, you don't have to really ask me a whole bunch of questions like you're interviewing me, because if you have a casual conversation with me, things will come out naturally. Now, if you want to know something that in depth, I would tell you. Okay, I wish everybody would realize, first of all, that to a veteran or a military member, if they've been deployed, it's very inappropriate to ask them if they killed somebody or shot somebody or whatever. That's very inappropriate.
But that's hold on. But hold on.
I'm not done.
But how? No. I'm going to let you finish. I just want you to understand something. How would they know that?
Well, I'm telling everybody right now who's listening it's inappropriate. First of all, second of all, it's second of all, what I said was I wish that people would understand that it's not good etiquette to ask that of a military or veteran. Second of all, when not even that, but when somebody is comfortable enough talking to you, like me and Lakia, we can have a casual conversation and I can find out more about her having a casual conversation or more about David having a casual conversation than I can asking a million questions. That's me. Some people need to ask a million questions. For me, if you want to ask me questions, if you want to ask questions, that's fine. But if I'm not comfortable, I'm going to tell you I'm not comfortable answering that right now because that's very personal to me. And I will, when I'm ready to, if we ever get to that point, then I'll have that conversation. But right now it's not appropriate.
But like Herb, you said earlier, there's some. Oh, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
No, so you said earlier there's some things that someone's not going to know about you right away because you don't want to share. There's some things you're not ready to share. So I guess that kind of goes along to some degree with what she's saying. But one thing I'll say that with Anita about the locker room talk, I want to hear the locker room talk because that's when they're really being themselves. The locker room is where they feel comfortable talking to their boys and they shooting and they just being themselves. So when a man is feeling like he can be himself around me, I like that because it's letting me get to know him and see if I even want to deal with this or if it flows or how way I feel, because women talk too. We have locker room talk, we have conversations that we usually wouldn't have with a guy, we'll have with our girls. But I feel like, why shouldn't I be? If I'm trying to look for, if I'm meeting a guy, I want him to be my friend. I don't want to be where I can talk to my girls and I can't talk to him, because if I'm trying to, like Herb said earlier, I'm giving myself to this man. I want to be able to know that this is my friend, as well as my lover, as well as my, confidant. I want to know if I can do that and he can do that with me. So that, to me, I would like to know that. I would like to hear it, to be honest.
I get that. I was saying, like, when they joke around, like locker room talk.
Tighten it up.
And it's, I don't know what I did.
Turn your volume down. You have an earphone, so turn the volume down on whatever it is you're listening to.
I'm listening to you.
Yes, but turn the volume down because you have an earphone on. You can hear. You don't need the volume up.
Yeah, I'm trying to do that. All right, how's that?
You're fine now. You're fine.
I know I'm fine. I'm fine like my wine right here. Anyway, I'm talking about.
Yes, you are, darling. Yes, you are.
I'm talking about like perverted jokes. When you first meet a lady, like, okay, me. I'll use me. When you first meet me, I don't like perverted jokes because I feel like I'm a lady and I want you I want to be talked to and treated like a lady. If just off the bat you're referring to your ex as bitches and other people as hoes, that's probably not somebody I'm really going to look forward to having another conversation with.
Well, that begs the question. How was your screening process?
How is what?
Your screening process.
Well, I guess I need to tighten up on that, huh? I don't really have like a B, C, D, E, F, G,
Anita, you
H, I,
can't
J, K, L, M, N, O, P.
You can't
Screening
go on
process.
pervert.com and expect for
Well, I'm not on pervert.com. I like to things happen organically, but
see the reason. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I like I said, I like to find out things by having casual conversation with somebody, not always asking a million questions, because I feel like if I don't ask a million questions, they're going to tell me they're going to feel either comfortable opening up, or I can tell they're clamming up because they don't want to tell me something.
All right, I want to get you to understand what it is that you're asking. Go ahead. You and I out. We don't know anything about each other. Start the conversation. Start the dialogue.
I don't know, Herb. You put me on the spot. I don't know. It just like
you are correct. I'm putting you on the spot. I'm putting you on the spot. You are correct.
Okay.
Go ahead. Let's start the dialogue.
So if me and you are on a date, it just has to.
No. It's not. Okay, if we are.
You're
okay, you ain't bringing me soup on your bike, right?
You don't know anything about me.
Really? Did she just
start
say
the conversation? Because I want her to get her to. I want her to understand what it is that she's asking. She's putting it out there. And if she's not willing to have a conversation, not willing to ask questions, she's just expecting the other person to open up.
No, that's
what
not
are they
what
going
I'm
to open up to?
That's not what I'm saying. I will ask, questions. It's a back and forth dialogue, just like we're having right now. It's a back and forth dialogue, but I'm not going to sit there and ask you like we're on a speed dating thing.
Let's roll.
But that's what I'm saying. Ask me a question.
I'm not really good at role playing in public.
This isn't role playing. This is not role playing.
Actual date. So Herb is actually asking you on a date right now.
It's not role playing
right now.
Okay.
That wine must not be strong enough. Must be boom strong.
You're on a date with Herb right now. He dressed up. He got his tie. He got his scarf.
Ask a question. This is what I try to get people to understand.
What is your government
reality
name?
TV.
What is
my who?
Your government name? What is your name? No, listen. Okay, I might not.
Hold on. Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Give her a chance.
Just like that. I'll say hi.
That's fine. I'll answer that question.
My name is so and so, and
I'll answer the question. You mean to tell me after all the time you spent on my profile, you don't know my name? So how often is it that you date strangers?
Are we dating now?
How often is it that you go out with strangers?
That's personal.
So you just date random people. That's interesting. Tell me more.
No, hold up. Everybody is a stranger before you meet them. Okay? It don't matter where you meet them. Everybody's a stranger before you meet them. So, hi, my name's Anita. How are you?
Yeah, but you swipe right on my profile, which means you had an interest in me. So how do you have an interest in somebody you don't know their name?
What's up?
Yeah,
okay, so what's your name? Give me your number. Is that your government name?
But wait a minute.
Y'all face to face now. Y'all past that stage. Y'all face to face now. We're trying to set the table for you, Anita. You're at the restaurant. Y'all across from each other. How do you begin? What's going on? What you gonna say?
I would say hi. How was your day?
It was terrible. I had somebody shooting at me.
You did? Well, how did you handle that? What can I do to make it better?
I don't know. Kevlar vest, maybe?
What?
Kevlar vest?
A Kevlar vest.
hold on, wait a minute, hold on. You didn't catch it. They gave you a hint, but you didn't catch it. Do you understand how you just opened yourself up for dirty humor?
No.
How can I help? What can I do to fix that?
But
That's an open, hold on.
Okay.
I just want you to understand. That's an open invitation for somebody who might take advantage of it. This is what we're trying to get you to understand is sometimes you unintentionally set the table for a response that you're not anticipating. That's what we're trying to get you to. It's not intentional. That's what we want you to, that's what we're trying to get you to understand. This is why you ask certain questions to allow a person to answer, but you get the answer directed in a certain way. Case in point.
I understand what you're saying.
Okay.
If you're dealing with somebody that's witty, they're gonna jump all over that.
Bingo.
I wish guys would understand that when women say something like that, we're not always asking for dirty humor. Like I genuinely want to say, hey, hold on.
Let me jump in here.
They don't know that. That's ambiguous. It could go either way.
Right. Let me jump in here and let's see. Lakia says she likes the dark humor. So what you're asking guys to do is figure out the difference between you and somebody else he met. You're asking a guy to jump through hoops, and that becomes difficult for a guy to do. A guy will just say, you know what? She's not my type. She's stiff. She doesn't have a sense of humor. She's dry. I don't want to be around her. Hey, yo, can I get the check? This is over. This is what we're trying.
And that's fine. That's quite fine with me. If it ain't there, it ain't there. But if we have a few phone conversations and a few.
Okay, hold on. Let me ask you this. When was the last time you had a phone conversation with a guy you just met?
Anyway.
My point exactly.
You know, just to help Anita out a little bit. Yeah, you just running in on Anita, but
because he keeps putting herself in the.
No, I'm not.
I'm not. Got her twisted.
I'm saying, prior to a first meeting, okay, they're gonna know my personality. Herb and Dave, do y'all know my personality?
No.
Herb, you liar.
That's behind the scenes. When you get face to face, when the lights is bright, people fold under pressure.
Well,
just like you did.
No, I think I'm the same all the time.
You just folded. You folded when the lights got bright on you. You folded.
No.
You folded.
No, because
you need to upgrade on your drink because you folded. The Boom Farms ain't cut the deal.
Role play is different than in person.
We want role playing. That's the point.
No. My point is, I'm not a disingenuous person. So when we go out and we have fun, whatever we're doing at the opera, at the Billy Joel concert, at freaking the Fraggle Rock concert, whatever it is, we're going to have fun. And you're going to already know prior to that I'm a fun person that you can click with and open up. Because of the conversation that we had prior. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
But you're not asking questions. You want somebody to just mysteriously tell you who they are. So
I didn't say that.
Let me say this. And we go back
I said prior to our first meeting, I ain't just gonna beat somebody and be like meet somebody online or something, or have a phone conversation and be like, okay. We're gonna meet right this second. Like, I don't know. I need to kind of feel them out a little bit first.
Maybe,
so you're wearing the mask. Hold on.
No,
I'm sorry,
not wearing the mask.
What? Wearing the mask is not a bad thing.
No, it's not a bad thing.
Wearing the mask just simply means that you're not ready to reveal certain aspects of yourself to an individual.
And I get
when you are, you'll take off the mask. So you wear a mask, there's nothing wrong with that. That's fine. It keeps you out of certain situations. That's a good thing because you're setting your boundaries for yourself. And everybody has different boundaries that they set. That's why they wear the mask. Because if a woman loves to engage in one night stands and she sees this guy that she potentially could establish a longer term relationship, she's not going to reveal that aspect of that to him.
Probably
Now,
not from the
conversely,
beginning, no.
right. Conversely, now if she sees a guy that she just wants to hop into bed with, she's gonna say, "Hey, look, let's cut this. And let's go to my place and let's get it in."
Say, let's cut to the chase. Bring me some chocolate wine and some soup on your bike.
She don't even. She don't even want the chocolate. She don't. She don't want the. She don't want the soup. She just want the nuts in the boat.
Hey,
That's all
well,
she
that's
wants.
how it is sometimes.
You know, that's the thing. Like, someone just made a comment. Cautiously having a conversation is a mask. They're asking a question. I believe in a way. No, I mean, being cautious is nothing wrong with being cautious, but at the same time, I'm thinking, be yourself. And I'm not saying reveal all, but like Anita did say something as far as just allowing the conversation to flow.
Right.
Not just, you ain't going in like asking a million and one questions. You're just having a good conversation about your day. Like you said, like, how was your day? It was good. Just had some work and, share about what you did. And, the other person might be able to bounce in with something that they did that was similar or that had, they can relate to or say, yeah, I've been through that before. You're just having a casual conversation. And through that, as Anita said, it spirals from there based on what you put into it. It just begins to spiral.
And one of the
But that's
reasons
what.
why I just go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Oh, one of the an example of how I discovered that works better for me to get to know somebody is when I first started dating an ex. We were, I don't know, he was talking to my dad or he was talking to somebody, whatever. And I just listened to him talk. I'm like, I didn't know that. I didn't even think to ask that because
And that's what I'm
why
talking
would
about.
I think to ask
Right
something
there.
like that? So that's when I discovered when conversations flow, I can learn more about somebody than asking a million questions like an interview.
I understand what. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yes, Latoya, you should know his name before you go on the date, and I need to know your government name. I need to see your ID to know, like, because some people they will put on that front like their name is really this, that, and the other, but their name is not really this, that, and the other.
I have a
So
question.
I can ask, but I like to verify too.
But I have a question. So if a man asks a woman out and he starts pursuing her, now, should a woman take it as, okay, he's interested, he wants to see where this can go, maybe go further? Or is it just a guy just being casually, am I frozen? Okay. My computer seems like I'm freezing. Okay. Or is it just having casual conversation? Because I believe sometimes as women, we could tend to have a conversation with a man and he's feeling us, pursuing us, and then all of a sudden we think, oh, he's trying to get with me, and we start thinking long term immediately. Is that wrong to think that way? Or is it safe to say that could possibly be the situation with that man?
The
What?
expectation.
I think that's normal.
Yeah.
A lot of times.
Go ahead. I'm asking the men because I just want to know what they're thinking.
What? This is just my perspective and my opinion and my experiences on the women that I've dealt with and have conversed with over a myriad of topics and years. What women do is y'all fall prey to the way that you feel, as opposed to asking questions and getting the information and then making the decision with it. A lot of what women do, they filter through their emotions. So case in point, if a guy asks you, or you ask a guy, do you want to come over tonight? And he says, yes. What is your next response? Ladies?
I was just
If he
playing.
said,
I just wanted to see what you
It
were
doesn't
supposed
matter
to say.
if you ask a guy that you're interested in, you say,
okay.
hey.
How are we asking a
You
question
says, hey,
with a question though? I don't get this. Wait a minute.
you'll understand as soon as I
Okay.
answered the question, and I'm going to put the question through a filter so you understand what it is that I mean when I said what I said. I said women have a propensity of filtering everything through your feelings. So when you do that, you don't get the information in a manner that is presented. You get the information in a manner of how you feel about the information. This is why I asked the question. And I said, there's a guy that you're interested in. Either you ask him or he asks you. It's a Friday night. He says, hey, do you want to come over? The answer is yes. What is your next statement?
I don't know. It depends on where it depends on what we were before that conversation. If it's someone that I've been
a guy that you're interested in, you can set the level of interest. Don't ask. Set the level of interest.
Bright lights.
Set the level of interest. What is your next response when the answer is yes?
For him to come over my house,
or you to go over.
Honestly, I think I would have to feel more comfortable with him, or for me to want to just go to his house immediately just because there's interest. I would like to have some conversations with him first.
Oh, and that's the point that I'm getting at. Everybody has a different level of comfort. So no matter what a guy does, ultimately, he's going to be in a holding pattern to what you feel, regardless of what he's presented. The guy has presented everything that you want, but you still don't feel comfortable enough to trust yourself with him, and that's not wrong. All it simply implies to the guy is, I've done everything that I'm supposed to do as a guy. I've been cordial. I've been a gentleman. I've done everything else. And now when I invite her over, she doesn't feel comfortable enough to come over. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put her on the back burner and I'm going to move on to someone else. This is why women talk about men that play games. Men don't play games. We're straightforward. The only problem is the message isn't received as straightforward. It's received depending on how you feel about the guy and the situation. So if you're not feeling the situation and you're not feeling the guy, you can say, okay, what you just said, look here, I don't know if I'm ready to do that yet. Guy's not going to fight you on it. He's just going to say, okay, I understand. I understand why you feel like that. No hard feelings. And he's gone. You won't hear from him a couple weeks. Say that again.
That's his loss.
Start with
That's
that
his,
whack argument.
That's his loss on that one, because he should.
No.
He's not
Let me tell you why it's not his loss.
Anyone being cautious.
No. You're saying it's his loss, but what has he lost?
He lost the opportunity of meeting a good person or having dialogue.
People miss opportunities all the time, and you know what?
But it doesn't mean everybody is the same. Everyone's different, and
we're not talking about different. We're talking about.
He just missed.
Hold on, wait a minute. We're talking about opportunity. Stop right there. Who's to say that
he missed the opportunity?
Hold on. Who's to say that you will be better than the next opportunity that he gets?
Because I could be. I could have been, or she could have been.
Who's to say that you
his
are?
soulmate,
you saying could.
and he just passed out. He just passed it from being impatient.
And you know what? If you were his soulmate, you would have said, you know what? I'll be there at said hour.
No, that's not true.
What did he say?
If he was his soulmate, no. If he was her soulmate, he would understand and be like, okay, I respect your level of comfort, and we can get to know each other more, and he would have respect.
He missed out on a woman that would have appreciated or would have been okay with his locker talk.
Well, you didn't say it's been a few months.
And this is precisely what I'm talking about. You guys are filtering things through your feelings.
No, because you would add to the story as it fits you and goes along.
I haven't added anything to it. What have I added to it?
You just said it's been a few months. You didn't say that to beginning.
Let me say this.
The guy has done everything he's needed to do to prove to you that he's a gentleman. You don't do that overnight.
But no, you didn't. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Now, go back to this locker room talk and all of this shit. First of all, I don't know how many I mean, I guess it will. It is some guys who come out and just be raunchy from the beginning.
Yeah.
But again, if it's somebody you've been talking to months or a few weeks, whatever, sometimes you might know their intent. You would hope you know their intent. Like, he didn't really mean anything by that. I know that's his way. That's his level of conversation, or he likes to joke, like to throw stuff in there. So sometimes you got to open up a little bit. You got to
And
open up a
that's
little bit, and knowing that you don't put yourself in harm's way. Now, if he told you, "Oh, let's meet up and let's go somewhere in the boondocks," and it's your first time and it's no one around or whatever the case is, then that would be different. But if it's something that's casual and you're like, I know he gonna crack his little jokes, he say his little sexual make his little remarks, but some people say that they may be harmless. They just may throw it out there because remember, well, again, I know that some people say not everything is a test, but a lot of things are just a little test. Let me just throw this out there. I'm gonna respond like this just to see how we all give tests. Unfortunately, some people don't think that. Oh, I don't give tests. I'm straightforward. I don't do this and that. But we all give tests. We all know that. It's certain things you're looking for, and you know if you ask it a certain way, you're gonna get a certain response, and that's education 101. When you have teachers, they know, like, oh, this class has been acting like this. I guess I'm gonna have to frame the question like this to try to get something out of them. So
Correct.
the ultimate goal is to try to see what you can get out of that individual. So it's a game of, unfortunately, how it sounds, it's a game of manipulation to see what can you get out, and then you make your you make your next move on that. Sort of like counterpunching, like, all right, if I throw this out there, I'm gonna see what they're gonna come with. Then I'm gonna come with this. And that's just the way it is. But I'm gonna hold the mic for a minute. I know one thing from what I posted in the I posted the other day. Women don't like the question, what do you bring to the table? That question brought up so much smoke that like it was like a forbidden question, when basically it's just saying, what are your qualifications? What are your characteristics? Men can't ask that. I found that out. Men, and it's not all, of course. So if anybody say, well, that's just whoever was responding to their comment, but damn, what's good with that? What do you bring to the table?
I
What do you
never
bring to
really
the table?
understood that question.
What do you don't understand it?
No, like, what do I bring to the
Let me
table?
let me
What do
put
you
it like this, Anita.
put it different?
Well, as one of the talking points. A lot of people like to fake jacks. They like to front like they something when they really ain't. So when that question is posed, it means, what are your assets other than what you have between your legs?
Okay.
You know, that's funny. It kind of ties into where you were talking about. I think one of the things that you posted was a topic is how were things dating back then than it is now, right?
Mhm.
That's what you had. Okay, so now women are more independent. Women are more, forthcoming. In my opinion, we're not always just looking for a man to be a provider. And I believe now that men have now also are looking at it, and I don't think that's a bad question, David, at all. I respect it, because for me, I've never looked for a man to be a provider. And I didn't look, period. But if I did meet someone, it wasn't for him to be my provider, because I always made my own money. It was, I'm a hard worker. It was to be able to come together with somebody, not to, as partnership, not as, and so that means I want to bring to the table, I got money, I can make money, I can come with ideas to help build, businesses or brands or whatever, or, And if it's for me to stay home, then I stay home and take care of the kids. You do the job, or vice versa, because there's men that staying home now. It's just what was brought to the table is that financially I can bring to the table, mentally I can bring to the table. I can bring soundness. I can bring peace. I can bring stability. Any woman should be able to bring, just different. Like, so I get what you're saying. It's the same thing when we're looking for a man. What can he bring to the table? And looking at how society is now, that women want to be treated equally, then we should also keep it equal to where we can do it together as a partnership, whatever that may be.
And maybe that's simply the answer that person looking for. Somebody say, "Oh, I'm understanding. I'm patient. I'm supportive. This is what I can bring to the table." It's just as simple. Nobody likes for women, not all, because I know y'all tied up on that. Women like to be women like to be the interviewer. They like to interview, but they don't like when the medicine ball is passed to the man, and now we hold the ball and get ready to pass it back and say, "What do you bring to the table?" No one likes that question, but we're supposed to be put on front and center and answer all the questions. And sometimes we're just simply looking for someone to say, "This is the things that I can bring." Just like if you went on a regular interview and the ultimate question is, "Why should we hire you?" I got a bunch of candidates. And now it depends. Like in an interview, some companies have a lot of options, just like some guys have a lot of options. Some guys are Melvins, and ain't nobody knocking down his damn door, so you can spoon feed him whatever. But when you have a guy with some options, and he say, "What can you do? What can you basically do? Like, why should I choose you?" Cocky as it may sound, but that's what jobs do to you. They say, "Why should I choose you?" Because I got interviews today. I got interviews all for the rest of the week. Now the lights is bright. You have that opportunity to say, "Damn, this is why you should bag me up and seal the deal." You have to do it. If you're a woman that say, "What you mean? That's a code word for your ass up. You a broke nigga," and all of that stuff. When you ask me what I'm bringing to the table, he's not asking you because he wants someone to take care of him or whatever the case is. He's thinking about some monetary thing. He's thinking like, "Are you gonna be my Scotty as a Mike or my Kobe and Shaq or whatever case is?" That's what he's looking for.
No, I get what you're saying too. I had a thought while you were talking, where, oh man, it was a good thought, but what you're saying is true. But the one thing that you said, that's my talk. It's gonna have to come back, but you were talking good stuff though. It's good stuff.
I mean, I don't think I ever been asked straightforward, "What do you bring to the table?"
Something.
I don't know.
Because Anita, you was on pervert.com.
I was not. I swear.
Searching for DGs.
No, actually,
Whipped cream on your feet, talking about, "Hey, you like this?"
Yeah, showing my pretty feet.
No, we just messing with you, but
do we need to go back to pretty feet? No, but actually, I don't think I've ever been asked that like directly, just like that. But I think I'm a confident woman enough to if it's the right match and I'm what you're looking for,
there he is.
There shouldn't be no problem.
But you know what? Even if you wouldn't ask that, so now if you ever ask that, you'll be like, "Man, from being on open courts discussions with Dave and Herb, I already was prepared for this. I was prepared."
I
don't think I would ever ask a man, what do you bring to the table either. I think I would like to, like I said, I like casual conversation though. I like it to just flow.
Well, let's
Hold
get
on,
this.
hold on, Dave. Hold on. You want me to tell you why you don't ask that man what he brings to the table?
Mm-hmm.
Because you're already judging what he brings to the table by if he drives, if he walks, what he wears, how he speaks.
How he speaks, maybe, yes.
Guaranteed. I can guarantee that.
You can guarantee
I can guarantee you judge a man on the way he speaks.
on the
I
way
can
he
guarantee
speaks.
that any
Yes,
woman judges that.
yes, I do. Other than the way he speaks and the way he dresses, yes, I have a certain standard.
Exactly. That's why you don't ask those questions. This is why
I
men do, because
observe.
you can see a woman who's dressed provocatively, but that doesn't necessarily mean she lives that type of lifestyle. This is why men ask those questions, because we don't know. In order for us to find out, we have to ask questions and not necessarily just listen. We have to listen. I always say communication is two parts: verbal and nonverbal. We learn more as men by what you do with your nonverbal communication. So if you start to close off, we know you're unsecured and whatever it is you're doing. So if you tell us a story and you sit back like this, you're recoiling because you're lying. Next level stuff. Stick with me.
Oh,
If you're telling a story and you open up, you get close, we know you're telling the truth and you're feeling more comfortable. These are all the things that are transmitted when you communicate to somebody and they're paying attention with not only just their mind, but with their ears. This is why police experts and people in the FBI can tell if somebody is lying, because they've been trained to understand this type of stuff. When I mention people like Donovan Sharp, Alan Roger Curry, Kevin Samuels, they're telling people about this stuff, but because people don't like to go sit there and watch and listen, they get bored and they fall asleep. So when the information is being given out and the lessons are being taught, a lot of people, no pun intended, they're sleeping. And then they wonder why they get caught up and taken advantage of or manipulated. Just putting that out there.
Now
Well,
you
body
said
language. Go ahead.
now you said something that resonated in my head when you was talking about the body language, and I know and understand that that's 55% of communication,
mhm.
the indirect body language. And I was thinking about when I was taking, and I still need to reconvene with that, like these public speaking things, and they were saying that speakers, when they come to the audience and they come up close, that means they're up and personal. They get
Mm-hmm.
personal with you with as they step closer to the stage.
Yep.
And they was like when they back up, that's something they might be talking about that they have a great fear of. So
Mm-hmm.
it might be a situation in the story that caused them fear, so they back up. So I was studying and I was like, man, this is deep. Like I never thought about that. There's like just the way you move on the stage
Yep.
represent. They like some people just stand still, and then some people go left or right. But people who got it and understand it, they can captivate the audience just by the movement on the stage, moving forward. Like, okay, now I'm about to confront you with something, so I'm moving closer. And then they may tell a part that may brought fear in their life, and they may backed up. So that kind of reminded me of that. So just
But
wanted
you're
to
right.
share that.
The body language speaks like if you have confidence or you don't. And then you're having a conversation and the way you engage speaks volumes. And the one thing that caught my attention when you said, woman saying that why you should choose me, and this because this is what I bring to the table. Now, a lot of times that I've heard men talk about women like evaluating what a woman brings to the table are men that usually do have money. Men are attached to their money, and who wouldn't be? I don't know if I'm freezing, but it looks like on my end I'm freezing. Um, Want to make sure protect what they have. That's why people have prenups now. But I had to ask myself the question when it came to a man if I feel like I need to try to sell myself to him, and I had to realize that I don't need to sell myself to nobody because my feeling is this: it's either we're going to connect or we're not. And if you feel like that, my hope is that that man that is into me is saying that he's into me, is going to be into me and going to know and going to feel that regardless of what's going on in between us. And if he's not feeling that, then there's nothing that I can do, or there's nothing that I can say to make him change his mind. When your mind is what it is what it is, period. I can't, I found that when I tried to beg a man, because I have been there before, and ain't no shame in my game of it, because you think that if I try to do this, or if I try to do that, if I try to wear, you're going to talk about wigs, and you're talk about makeup, if I wore this, if I dress like that, like, girl, don't go without looking hot in front of him, because every time he see you, you're going to make sure he coming back to you every time, all of that. But I've learned none of it works. The only thing that works is just being yourself. And it's either if he's for you, or if she's for you, or they're not. And all I can say, so that's where, for me, I don't think that it's necessary for any woman or any man to try to say, this is why you should choose me because I do this or do that. If it's not mutual, it's just not mutual. And that's my opinion.
Well, there's always a balance with male-female relationships and with anything actually in life that you do. That's a dynamic that I think we don't understand. So if you encounter an individual that you don't meet all of their criteria, they may be willing to overlook certain things because that's not a deal breaker. So an individual who goes out with synthetic hair, for a man that might be on his list of, you know what, that's a red flag. But there might be something else that you have, or that a man has that a man possesses, that kind of just say, okay, you know what, it is, but I can overlook and deal with that because I rate this higher on this scale. So this is okay for me because I can work with that. Case in point, you have a woman. She has to have a guy that's 6 foot tall because she likes to wear heels. So when she's 5'9", she wants a guy that's a little bit taller than her because it makes her feel secure. It makes her feel safer. She always wants to look up to him. So the 5'10" guy doesn't quite cut it, but he has the resources. He's proven that he could potentially be a great father. He's studious. He's affectionate. He's open emotionally. She might be willing to look down upon him in that regard because he has all the other metrics that she wants. These are the things that are the dynamics that are met when we allow ourselves to be open to certain things and not close certain things off. I'm often accused of that. They say, well, your requirements are so stringent that you'll never meet anybody. No, I'll never meet the wrong individual. and for me, if that means that I have to quote unquote throw the baby out with the bathwater, I'm willing to risk that. That's just how I am. That's just how I'm wired. I don't have a problem with that.
Let me I'm gonna let you go, Lakia, next, but let me interject. And I think somebody said they thought 80% was body language. No, it's the 738 55% rule. 7% of communication is spoken words. Actually, shit that we say. So that lets you know right there, some of the crap that we say, a lot of people do all the talking. It's bull crap. There's somebody who do too much talking. They ain't listening, but they doing a lot of talking, and they just continuously talk just to talk. And I remember riding back from Niagara Falls, me and my mother. She said, any man that just talk, you already know he full of crap. Just constant talking. And 38%, well, the 55% is the actual non-direct. That's the body language. And you could tell, like certain things people do, the non-direct stuff, like certain things they do, the folding of the arms, tapping, or facial expressions and stuff like that. And then you have the 38% of actual communication or voice or tone. and Anita, you spoke on that, like the voice, the tone. Someone says it, and that goes a lot in the communication. You have to know certain situations. You have to know how to adjust your tone and say, "All right, I probably need to come with this tone for this situation, and this tone for the other one." So we see that 55-38-7 rule. It's important. Where people really don't think about it, but it's interesting that it's only 7% of it's actually stuff, the words that come out, and that don't look good. That don't look good. Which takes me to another point. Again, we talked about that the other week when I said women speak 20,000 words a day, and men speak. What was it? Anybody was paying attention? What was it?
7,000.
Hell no, it wasn't 7,000. Yeah, you might be right.
You probably do.
Yeah,
I think
Yeah, I
you're
think it
7,000.
was
Yeah,
somewhere around there.
7,000. You're right, Anita. You're right. So, what does that say?
It
It
says
was
women got
55%.
more going on than men.
No, they said women doing a lot of talking,
We got more to say.
and men probably on the
Nope.
55% stage,
No,
whatever, where it's
no.
non-direct, and they just the body
Want me to tell you
language.
what that is, Anita?
Mm-mm.
Want me to tell you what that is?
No.
What is it?
Women talk through their feelings. So when women are explaining something, they're telling people how it made them feel versus what is actually happened. Case in point.
I don't know. It might be something.
I
You might
don't know
you might
about
be into
that.
something. You might be into a little something on that one because we do like to talk
Case in
about our
point.
feelings. A little something. Right.
Case in point. A couple, fathers in the house drinking beer, watching the game with a couple fellas. Mother's in the kitchen. Young son's outside. He's using a hammer. Always wanted to be like his father, but he didn't learn some of the rules. So he's outside using a hammer. Hits his hand with a hammer. Cracks open a nail. Blood everywhere. He's screaming. Mother runs outside, see what's happened. She runs back in. Starts telling the husband what's going on. She said, well, you know how our son always wanted to be like you. He wanted to use a hammer, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. He says, yes, honey, and he said, well, he was outside using the hammer, and he knows by virtue of him knowing her that when she's serious about something and when she isn't, he says, honey, get to the point. She says, why do you always do that to me? I'm trying to tell you something and you cut me off. And he'll say, honey, because you tell me these long stories when I just want to know what it is that you need to tell me. She said, well, if you be quiet, I'll tell you. Meanwhile, the child's outside bleeding. Now, what she should do or what she could do is say, honey, I'm taking our son to the emergency room. He hit his finger with the hammer. He's bleeding badly. That's the difference between how a woman communicates and how a man would like a woman to communicate. This is why women use more words. Men are direct. We don't talk in terms of feelings. It would be the difference between an engineer needing to know what's wrong with a blueprint and a woman needing to figure out what color shoes she's going to wear to a party with a dress.
No, I'm sorry. I don't necessarily agree with that one.
Okay, that's fine.
You're not
What's
going to agree because you're going to say it's the absolute thing. It probably has to do with
No,
the absolute.
I'm not.
Tell me what's wrong. Tell me what's wrong with it.
I'm sorry. My experience with men.
Hold on, wait a minute. Hold on. Don't make this an individual argument.
I don't have statistics for you, Herb. Okay.
Hold on.
I'm gonna tell you through my experience what I've seen.
Hold on. But you're talking about I never said my experience. That's why I use the generic sample.
But so listen, experience is also educational.
Okay, wait a minute. Hold on. We can sum this. We can sum this up like this. You are an anomaly. You don't communicate like that, correct?
No. What I'm saying is that I do. I'm a communicator. I like to give detail.
No. I'm not saying you're not. I'm saying you don't communicate like the first description I gave. You communicate like the second when necessary.
It depends what the situation is.
And that's what I mean. See how quickly we cleared that up?
Okay, I get what you're saying, Herb, but I still have a point. I still have a point I need to make. Let me
I'm just
make it,
saying
please.
that's the difference between how men communicate and how women communicate. You'll
So,
go through a spiel just to get done what we did in about 15 seconds. Go ahead.
no, that's what
And
you
it,
got done in 15 seconds. I'm not done yet.
Which is the
But
point.
guess what?
That's my
You just
point.
took a whole 10 minutes to explain it. You just took a whole 10 minutes to explain what you
I
just
gave you
explained.
I gave you a
Now
scenario. I
explain
could
what,
I could have summed that up in 30 seconds,
but you
but
did
you
it.
would have did what you're doing now.
But you did it. That's the whole thing. See, y'all think y'all don't talk as much as we do, but the thing is, we listen. We're listeners. Women are listeners, and people try to not give us credit for that. But I promise you, my kids will tell you right now, Mama don't miss a beat. You say something, I'm like,
And see once again, you
I
made
mean,
this
I seem like I'm listening, but I don't miss a
no
beat.
once
So
again,
so as I
you
was trying to
made
explain,
you
if I
hold on,
may,
wait a minute, hold on. Once again, you made this a my discussion.
I'm
This
not
is
making
why I
this
said
my
talk about the
discussion. I was going off of
generics.
experience. So what I'm striving to share with you is an experience that
But I'm acknowledging your experience. That's why I'm saying you're an anomaly. I'm not saying your experience aren't valid. They're very valid.
right.
But if you were to say that to the average woman, do you think they would agree with you?
Well, I would like to I want to hear what she got to add to the piece. That she may be an anomaly or whatever the case is, but I want to see what she says so I can come back with
Sure,
my rebuttal.
absolutely.
No,
Go ahead.
You
I'm just messing with you.
case in point, a man having something to say about it. Case in point, wherever direction you are, case in point, men like to talk and men like to explain, and men like to always nag at times. I know they try to put it on women, but men are naggers as well, and they just don't want to. Sometimes don't let things go and hold grudges. And when that happens, there's always that type of conversation always going on at times. And women, for the most part, in my opinion, always are sitting back, just listening and saying, just allowing them to talk. And I think men are just as much as chatty patties as women are. That's why they're just as chatty patty as women. They have those conversations amongst each other about this or that, sports, and it's just different. Like men talk sports, talk about chicks, talk about women, and talk about maybe even food.
Know what the difference is, Lakia? Know what the difference is?
What?
That men may do it. I may talk to my homeboys, and it may be once every couple months, and it may be a group conversation that lasts for a couple hours, and that may be it. And then we don't talk for a while. Yeah, all day, every day, 2, 3 times a day. God damn, what else is new behind this? You just talked
I
to
don't
a
agree.
couple hours ago. Damn. Develop something new to say whatever. That's the difference, whatever. What changed from last night at 11 to 8 in the morning? What? Y'all was sharing dreams? That's the difference.
I'm not even gonna go there. I'm not even gonna touch that one right now.
What's the
Whatever.
difference? And if my mother listening, she know what I'm talking about. With her, my aunt, whatever. What the hell do y'all got to talk about all damn day long?
No, I think if your mom was on here, she would confirm how much y'all probably talk amongst brothers or how much y'all talk. This is chatty patty.
No, but he's acknowledging that. He's just not saying it happens daily.
We don't talk like it's not daily.
I'm not a daily person. I don't see that's where I'm different because I'm not a daily person with girlfriends. Me and my girlfriends don't talk every day. And it's sad, probably say I don't talk to my mom every day because the only people I talk to is the kids because they're there every day for the most part. So, and if I'm working and significant others or whatever, but other than that, I'm not like that either. So.
I like to talk. I won't even lie. I talk to my mom every day,
Yeah.
a couple times a day. Well, considering my health condition, she does
Cheers.
call me a couple times a day. But I like to talk, and I don't
This is
think there's
actually
anything
dating
wrong.
right there.
And I don't think there's anything wrong with talking, because I think I would be boring if I didn't talk a lot. But I don't talk to my girlfriends every day. That is true. But I talk to complete strangers like it's nothing.
Let's ask this question. If you, either one of you ladies, were in a situation where you're surrounded by people that you may know, may not know, and you had to sit quietly for a half an hour, could you do it?
No, probably not.
I'm a loner. I'm an introvert and I'm an outrovert. It depends on where I'm at. I'm a people person, but I'm also a person that love to just have time to myself.
You pick the situation. I'm just saying, can you do it?
Absolutely.
Okay. So
and
we have one.
I go to the spa or I go somewhere and just be chill by myself and be okay with it.
we have one that can. I guarantee you, if we were to ask that question on a poll, that you will have more women that identify with what Anita is saying and how Anita feels, as opposed to how you feel, Akia. That's what we're getting at.
Even when I went to
it's not that men don't talk, we do. It's just we speak about certain things, and like David said, once we hash that out, that never comes back up as a topic of conversation.
I don't know, but not all females are the same, because when I go to
correct.
Hold on.
Here we go.
I know there's no absolute,
yeah,
but I'm just saying, like, I observed something. The last time I got my nails done, like, I'm a social person for the most part. Most of the time when I get my nails done, I talk to all the girls. Oh, girl, where'd you get those shoes? Is there any Jamaican clubs around here? I like that color. What color is that? And then sometimes I just like to sit and relax and get in my thoughts and collect my thoughts. So I guess it depends on what kind of mood I'm in, but generally I'm a chatty Cathy.
Okay. Whew. All right, yeah, go ahead. Y'all wait for me to say something, because
there's a question in here. There's a question. Maybe we put that one up.
No, that's another question about what Anita said when she was swiping right on people's profiles, but she would go out and wouldn't know their name.
No,
yeah,
I'll talk about in the other chat.
Let's get that clear.
Yeah, I haven't followed up with all the comments, whatever. But if you see something as you're strolling through, then you can definitely bring it up.
Let me clear that up. I don't go out with just anybody, and I know their name.
You asked the question.
No,
I didn't.
No, I'm saying I had an experience where somebody told me their nickname, and I thought that was their real name. And then, like, at the end of the day, they told me, "Oh, by the way, my real name is this and this." And I was like, "Oh, well, my real name is this and this." And it was comical, actually. So that's just
part of that locker room humor, huh?
No, locker room humor is if I met you for the first time in person, you're like, "Oh, by the way, today's steak and BJ day." Hint, hint. And I'm like, "What?
What's wrong with that?"
Steak and
The first
BJ
time you meet somebody, no.
Yeah.
If I was dating you for like a month, I would think that was funny. I'd be like, "Oh, we're eating steak. Okay.
Okay, hold on. Wait a minute.
We're going to the Western Door for the porterhouse. Okay.
Wait a minute. But today was Pie Day. I like pie. What's wrong with eating pie?
Nothing.
Oh, today is Pie Day.
You missed the joke.
Can I ask you guys?
See what I mean? You missed the joke.
But can I ask you guys a question?
Mm-hmm.
So I noticed that so much. You guys spend so much knowledge and statistics and understanding. Have you been in a successful relationship? That's just, and like, and there was a question that says, how has your wisdom and knowledge of women helped you become a better mate?
Who asked that
The
question?
yeah, the question
It's in the chat.
in and of itself is ambiguous because you have to define what successful is.
Well, let me clear this up. Let me clear this up right now.
Answer the question.
No, let me clear this up. I, per se, never came on here like I'm some damn relationship guru, whatever. I like to speak on dysfunctions and like us to have these conversations. So it's nothing wrong with having these conversations because are they happening every day on a daily basis?
Yes.
They're happening on a daily basis?
There are.
Huh?
Yeah.
No, they're not.
Yeah.
No, the
What do you
conversations
mean?
aren't occurring
platform?
on a daily
And
Well,
what
basis.
platform?
Not
conversation,
conversation,
like
situations.
conversations are probably happening behind closed doors, not open discussion.
Yeah, and that's what I'm
Which
talking
is what he's
about.
speaking about.
So that's the point. Ain't nobody saying, "Oh, I've been married for 25 years and all that shit." Because you could be married for somebody for 50 years, but your shit
And
was
that means
all
nothing.
fucked up, whatever.
Right.
It don't mean
Right.
nothing. This is just a point for us to start talking about and having these dialogues, whatever. So for people who looking for that, you're just looking. You're reaching and you're looking for something because you can't measure success on relationships because somebody could be like, man, I done reached a plateau. I got here, I'm doing this. And meanwhile, your partner is miserable as hell, and you're the only one that's carrying it. So they're wrong answer. Dig somewhere else. I don't know who made that statement. I can't see it. But
okay, so Herbert, can you say the same thing? What would your response be to that question, Herb?
All my relationships are successful. There hasn't been one that hasn't been.
I'm not. I don't know if I want to ask for you to don't even know.
See, I'm the wrong cat to play with. See, I take them shots because I'm a championship fighter. I know what they're driving at, but see, they can't pull that on me because see, I'm not looking to get married, and that's the question. That's the aim of that question. Just like David said, there are people who've been married for years, but their relationship is dysfunctional, but they stay together for the sake of the kids. Being that I don't have any kids, anytime I engage in a relationship, it reaches one or two conclusions. It doesn't end or it ends. Either way, it's still a success because I get what I want.
I do have a question for you though, Herb.
Ask.
I saw that you posted a woman talking about love and pain, and I watched the video. And she basically was saying that she was tough on parents because she was saying that let me get my, I guess I had no, it's not when a parent says to a child, it's not it's for your own good. Like I guess like I'm doing this because I love you, and this is for your own good. Okay. When I heard her say that, and she was stating that caused women or men to have issues as adults because as a child your parent chastised you. Do you think that where's the separation of discipline and pain? Because don't discipline have to come in somewhere? Because when I hear a parent say, I did this for you, I did this for your own good, I'm doing this because I love you, that's out of discipline. Where is it that the pain is coming in? But the only thing I would say out of what she said that was a miss was the fact that sometimes as parents we feel like we don't have to explain ourselves to our kids because you like Anita said, you're a child, stay in a child's place. I'm the parent. It is what it is. That's it. But I'm a different type of parent. I'm more of I learned that I would like to hear what my child has to say because I want to know what's in my child's mind, and I want them to understand why I'm disciplining them, so that hopefully I'm teaching them in that same moment. But I'm trying to understand when you put that post, where does discipline come in? You understand what I'm saying when you're dealing with chastising a child?
Well, this is you have to look at the larger question first. And the larger question is this: can you discipline without being physical with your children?
Absolutely.
That's where the question, that's what she was driving at. What she was associating, and it's called conditioning, is we have been conditioned to accept pain as love. That's what she was getting at. So if you have the ability as a parent, and not every parent does, to be able to condition your child to understand that correction does not have to come with pain, then that child develops a healthy understanding of when to leave an abusive relationship. Because some women have been conditioned to say, he only hit me because he loves me. And when those situations arise, it causes an incongruent in the understanding of what love is. Because if you can only associate love with pain, then you will believe that the more somebody hits you, the more they love you.
So the thing is, now I'm not saying that that's the only way that you discipline a child. Just to be honest, I'm not going to say that's the only way I've ever disciplined my children. Is by not spanking their butt. The word says spoil a child, spare the rod, spoil the child. Now, some people may disagree with that, but it also says that if you don't, you're basically killing them when you don't discipline them. And it's not out of, so I do believe that you can, because I think I've put such a fear into the, realize the power that I have as a parent, and put the fear in my kids to now they're like, mom say something, it is we don't want the smoke from mom. That taught them discipline, because either I'm going to get you, you want me to get you, or you want the police to get you. And so I'm getting to you. I'm disciplining.
Fear is another way that parents discipline. Go ahead.
And that's the fear of them to reverence you as a parent, as a person of authority, so that when they go leave out of this home, they'll have reverence and authority for someone else, because you have to teach them. And that anytime that there is a action, there's a reaction. And anytime there's something that you do wrong, there's a consequence for your actions. If it's something wrong, good or bad, there's a consequence. So I'm just saying, to a degree, with what she was saying, I hear what she's saying, but I don't believe she's missing the point of that.
Nope, not at all.
And I'm going to tell you where I'm going to give you my opinion, where I believe she's missing the point.
Yeah.
Where parents is when parents are not explaining, not that we have to, but we are to teach them. It says train the child, and the word says train the child in the way that it should go, and it should never depart from them. So I'm training them as I'm teaching them, as I'm disciplining them, as I am letting them know this is for your own good. This is beneficial for you. This is what I'm saying. This is a parent saying this is beneficial for you. I'm doing this because this is beneficial. But if it's actual abuse, beating, physically, the over the top, going too far, where it's that's pain, that's abuse. But when there's discipline, there's a difference, there's a separation there.
Okay, don't answer these questions now. I'm going to ask you them, and I want you to think about them. If the rod was taken out of your hand, how do you discipline your child? And like I said, don't answer, just think about it. Number two, how does a coach of a team, whether male, female, discipline his or her player?
You said a coach?
Yes, because coach is discipline.
Okay, no, I can answer. I've got years
of
children, so I can answer.
Go ahead.
No, the way I've learned to discipline my kids is have conversation with them.
Okay.
And depending on what the timing is, like sometimes I just tell them just go, like I don't say nothing for a minute. I just let it. I just go, just allow myself to calm down, because I want to be able to have a healthy conversation with them. Because again, I'm teaching them.
Hold on. Stop right there. Are you disciplining or teaching? Because discipline and teaching are not the same thing.
Oh, because the discipline comes if I'm taking your cell phone, or I'm taking your remote.
Hold on. Stop right there. I'm going to stop you right there. Hold on. I'm going to stop you right there. That's what she's talking about. She's talking about, as opposed to striking, use another means to discipline. That's
So
what she was getting at. That's why I was saying that's why she didn't miss the point. She knew what she was getting at, but she doesn't always put it out there because people push back. See, I get these from her page where people are having dialogue, so you guys don't see the dialogue and how many people disagree with what she's saying or they question what she's saying because they only have one level of experience with discipline. The way a coach disciplines his player or her player is they take away playing time. So if you violate a team rule that says, okay, you know what? I have the ultimate hammer. I'm not going to hit you. I'll just take away the playing time. And that's where the discipline and the teaching comes in. The same way you would take away your child's cell phone or any privileges. You're disciplining and teaching, but the discipline comes in the removal of the ability to use or do certain things. There are a lot of parents who never strike their children, but they're very good disciplinarians because they make it painful for the child to say, if you engage in this act again, you will have to suffer these repercussions and the consequences. And they become so painful for the child that no teenager wants to be grounded in the house on a Friday or Saturday while their friends are out partying. So guess what they don't do? They don't replicate the bad behavior that they engaged in to get them in that situation in the first place. That's what she was driving at.
no, that's not what she didn't mention anything as far as discipline.
No. And
So that's why
she's not going. She's not going to, because she wants people to understand certain things. Because, like I said, she always gets the pushback. You have, in order to understand fully what I'm saying, you have to go to a group. You can't just take what I post in there. That's why I posted in there so people can understand certain concepts. Discipline is nothing more than a concept, and actually, where discipline comes from.
You posted wasn't clear though.
No. It wasn't clear because, like I said, we all filter things through what we know and understand. So if somebody gives you something that you don't know or you don't understand, you have to understand it the best way you can, which is usually through what you know. And that's where the incongruent nature and the gridlock comes in. And it's not wrong. It's just a different way of looking at things. Like the old adage, there's more than one way to skin a cat. Where if a person came into another way of skinning a cat, they would say, that's not how you skin a cat. Because they don't know any other way. They only know one way. It's the old adage of if you're a hammer, then every problem's a nail.
Well, I'm not going to continue. I don't want to keep going on and on about it, but
that's fine.
I just know, and I know David might have something else you want to discuss, but I just didn't agree with the fact that you can't just say, well, your mom said, this is for your own good. And now you're taking that out on everybody else as an adult. And now you're loving men or women because of that pain. I think it's, sometimes we have to, as well, like, grow up. There's a time that you're going to have to put on, it's just gird yourself up as a man or gird yourself up as a woman and say, you know what? Yeah, that happened. But how can I take that and treat somebody else different? How can I take that and say,
you know what I want you to do after this live stream? I want you to go look at the rates of abuse.
Oh, abuse is major.
Hold on.
Major.
I
know that.
I want you to look at the rates of those who are abused and what they do to their children or their mates.
And that also takes me to the thought that I had along with that, because I thought about that, what you said about as far as abuse, and where the comment that came up in the previous conversation that I was in the chat about, since David did say I might want to mention some things about that, not to go into it too heavy, but one of the comments was that's why a man shouldn't deal with a single mother is because or a reason why a man does deal with single mothers because they so they can abuse a child. There's pedophiles out there, and and that may be true because there are pedophiles out there, and they are getting with women and silly women and taking advantage of their children. You're absolutely right about that. They were correct about that. But the one thing that I feel like any man, if you know that you're not that kind of man, that's what women and that's what other children need to see is men that are not that way. And that's how we can help change the dynamic, is when you can be that example to a fatherless son or daughter to show them that is not how you deal with somebody's children or child. You know what I mean? So I wanted to make sure I mentioned that tonight as well, is that was distorted thinking, my opinion. And it would be great to see when men just said, hey, let me show these young men and women what it is to be a real man in a child's life and teach them and be an example. I just want to put that out there.
Let me ask you a question.
I agree with that.
Let me ask you a question. How often is it that you take your money and pay somebody else's bills with?
If it's asked of me, I've done it. Yeah, doesn't matter.
I didn't ask. I said, how often do you volunteer?
I don't keep track.
How out of a calendar year, how many times do you do it?
I don't keep track.
Out of a calendar year, how many times do you do it?
You want me to pull out my Cash App?
Sure.
I can do that, but I ain't gonna do it
Sure.
none of your business. But I can pull out my Cash App.
Sure,
But what I'm
absolutely.
saying to you is that I don't think
No,
of
no,
those
no,
things
no, no.
because
See,
I'm a
now
giver.
you're backstepping.
Now, I'm
Pull out
not
your
bad. I'm
Cash
a
App.
giver. I'm a giver. So I don't keep track of what I do. If I do it from the heart, and I don't expect anything back.
But this
So
is the
I don't
point.
keep track.
The point that I'm making is this: you want men to step in and take and foot the bill for somebody else when they had nothing to do with how the
I
bill
didn't say foot
was.
the bill. I said be an example, as you should be. Period. As a man. Period. As
Be-
an adult. Period.
So let me ask you this, and not to belabor the point. Why can't I do that for my own kids? And why do I need to do that for someone else's kids?
I'm not saying you need to, but you're the one that
Okay,
said
hold on, wait a minute. Stop right there.
You said you're a mentor. You said you do mentoring to young
hold on,
men.
wait a minute.
So if you're a mentor to young men,
I choose.
why is it? Guess what? You're mentoring a single mother's son in a facility. What is the difference?
And you know what I tell them?
Don't date single mothers.
You're damn right.
That's the wrong answer.
No, it isn't.
It is.
I tell them that because they're not valued enough to do
if you're
so.
mentoring at all. That's why I want to make sure I put that out there too.
Hey, it's well known what I do in the city. I don't hide that. How the hell can I hide that? I'm in public doing it.
See, this is the caveat to it all. That when you look at the thing,
yeah,
like
Latoya, here we go.
When you look at certain things to say, well, I don't want to deal with single moms with kids or whatever the case is. I guess the thing is, if you ultimately get to know an individual and that person may say, I don't, you're really not here to take care of my kids. I got this. They may be looking for other roles. I think the misconception is that automatically single females look for men to come in and kind of rescue them and become, part of their finances, where that may not be the case. Now, granted, I don't know the percentages or whatever the case is, but I'm sure some women like, oh, I got my kids there all day. Like, you ain't got to worry about that.
Right.
They may be just looking for companionship on their own, or someone to say, hey, I'm getting a little older. I want somebody to spend time with. You don't have to worry about my kids. You don't have to worry about them.
Right.
So I think that's what caused a lot of anger with the women before, with the male panel. And again, we can always say there's no absolutes to this, but it's always good to have these discussions to get stuff out there to let people know, like, hey, I'm a single female. I got kids. I work. I make a good living. My kids are fine. They're fine. Of course, I might have some knucklehead sons or whatever. They may need a little encouragement here and there, but financially or whatever the case is, they don't need that. We're okay on this end. So I think we have to open up our horizons and say we got to look at it. We can't just say, oh, because you're a single woman that they're looking for someone to come and take care of that.
That's an insult. That's an insult. Because I definitely look for nobody to take care of
this is what women always.
One thing that you said, I just want to say that I feel that it would be it would be beneficial if children saw
But see,
couples.
hold on, wait a minute. When you say beneficial, it's
that's
not
beneficial.
for the man.
I'm talking about.
There's nothing that benefits
it's
that man.
How do you know? You ain't all man. You ain't all men.
It may do
It
something for
doesn't
you.
benefit the man.
No, the
If
love.
it
He's
doesn't
not making
benefit
any
the
money
man,
from
then no
it.
man
He's
would
not
do it.
profiting.
Loving a
Let me
woman.
put it a different way. Let me
and a man and a
put this a
woman
different
coming
way.
together could be
Let me-
very
There we go.
beneficial.
Let me put this a different way. If I spend 3 hours a week with another woman's child, as opposed to spending 3 weeks working, how much money have I lost?
Nobody said you need to forego.
You're not
work.
understanding the point. That's why you keep discounting it. And this is what we keep trying to get you guys
what
to
did you even
understand.
say? What
You're
did you
not
even
going
say?
to
I said if I
brainwash me
spend-
and get me to understand
What
that
did
it's
you
okay to
dispute?
teach
I want to hear what
men,
you dispute.
little
'Cause you
boys,
doing
not to
something.
date single mothers. No, that's not
Wait
okay.
a minute. So you're saying it's wrong to teach a man not to date a single mother, but you're teaching him
Yes.
it's right to date one.
Yes.
Where's the
So,
balance?
This is what I'm saying, and I'm gonna make it, and hopefully I make it very clear for you. This is what's incorrect to me. How you gonna go on live chats,
Mm-hmm.
write books to
Mm-hmm.
men that
Mm-hmm.
came from single mothers and tell them not to marry or date a single woman because it's unbeneficial for you to build so you can build your own? You're telling that to a single mother's son. So you're basically
Look here. Let me make this real simple for you.
why are you saying that to them?
Look here.
No,
Let me make this
understand what
real
I'm saying.
simple for you.
No, it's nothing simple. It's
No,
a little,
I'm gonna make it real
That-
simple for you.
that's
That's
all I'm trying to say.
illogical according
You
to
can't make
her.
I'm
That's not.
gonna make it real simple for you. And I've
Because
said this
how you
before.
mentor a single mother's son and
Look
on
here.
video
Look
and say
here.
you don't want to pay you
Listen.
don't want to give
Look
financially,
here.
you don't want
Listen.
to give.
Look
I'm not
here.
done. I didn't finish.
Listen.
You don't want to give financially. You don't want to give
Listen.
your
Look
energy.
here.
You don't want to give
Look
your
here.
time, but you're
Listen.
giving your energy, time, and
Look here.
finances on YouTube,
Look
on
here.
videos to tell a single
Look here.
mother's son not to
Look
date a
here.
single mother. That's
Look here.
If I knew
That's
a mentor
Look here.
was
a
teaching my
double
son that,
man.
I'd be
Look
And then a
here.
selfish young
pissed
man
off as all hell.
Look
in
here.
all his ways. That's the
Yeah,
word.
I gonna keep going back and forth.
No, because
There's
they
no-
refuse to acknowledge that men have a choice.
Period.
It's not that men
A
don't
double
have a
tongue
choice.
man
It's
is
the
on
fact
table.
If
all his
men
ways.
have a
teaching them as
choice,
a
then it shouldn't be an
that
issue.
that's the right way.
Hey,
But you want to tell
If
a
men
single
have
man,
a choice,
single mother's
then it
man's
should
son
not be an
not
issue.
to date a single mother.
check
That's
this out.
ridiculous.
It's as simple as that.
Check
If y'all
this out.
respect the fact that a man has a choice,
I
then
already
this shouldn't be an issue.
for the show.
Check this
Just
out.
say you don't respect the man's choice. Don't beat around the bush. Don't give me 1,000,001 excuses of why he should. Just say we don't respect his choice to have it to engage in not dating single mothers.
But
Just
how
put
you
it
gonna
out
go
there.
out there and try
Don't
to
run
preach
from
them?
it.
Go ahead, Brother T. Is that Brother T? Go ahead, girl. You go, because I got
Because you're not gonna move me off my stance.
Now,
My
now,
stance is
I
concrete.
will say this.
Reinforcement steel. I'm not moving.
This is probably the one thing I agree with Herb on, and I'm going to explain why.
Mhm.
I think it's okay for a man to have a choice and not to choose to date single women and with single women with children. You know why I think it's okay for a man to not date single mothers? Because that's one less asshole, one less headache, one less selfish person that she got to split her time with. Who wants to be bothered with that kind of fucking headache? If you don't like kids and you are not mature enough to be able to divide your time between me and my child, that's not somebody I want in my
And
circle.
they shouldn't be
So
mentoring nobody
dudes like
either.
that, they
And
just
they
make
shouldn't be
that
mentoring
shit so
anybody.
much more
'Cause that's
easier
a
to
single
date
mother's
because that's
son you
one less jerk on the planet I gotta fucking deal with. That's somebody off the bat. That's the question I have. I have children. Will this be a problem? Yes, I don't date women with children. We ain't even gotta talk. We ain't gotta exchange numbers. It was nice meeting you. Tell me up front you don't want to date a woman with children. Deuce. You just saved me having to waste gas money to go on a fucking date with your punk ass just so
Okay.
I can listen to you or pretend to listen to you. Because let's face it, most men do not know how to intellectually stimulate women. They don't. That's why shit don't go nowhere. And then they get on the date and they're like, oh, she was this, she was that, she was the third. I'm sorry that you couldn't manipulate my mind in a way that made me want to actually fully engage with you and go on another date with you. That's something you got to work out on your own, boo-boo. I can't teach you everything. And obviously, your daddy didn't teach you that shit at home. Because, we always talk about how the father needs to give the son to, how the mother needs to give the son to the father. But most men don't teach their son simple shit like that. How to stimulate a woman's mind, how to get a woman to bend to your will. And I'm sorry, being verbally aggressive does not always do the job. Sometimes you got to know how to finesse a woman. Men don't teach that shit. Moms teach that. Tell me I'm wrong. Because y'all be the first to say that we men aren't nurturing. So tell me I'm wrong. Because you can take a child, you can take a son, and you can teach him all that man shit, how to stand up and pee and all that shit. But you can't teach him how to stimulate a woman's mind. You can't teach him that shit. That's something only a mother can teach.
Well, I can teach too. Because we know what stimulates us. Right.
Exactly. That's some shit you can't teach.
Well, you can if you're a man that's coming from a.
I have yet to meet a man that was raised by his father that knew anything about stimulating a woman. He learned everything that he knew
you know how I answer the question.
His father taught him to destroy shit, not how to nurture anything.
I answer this question in one simple statement: say no to dating single mothers.
Well, we're gonna have to come up with our own slogan, Brolic, T and Anita.
Say
no to bike riders.
Why would you want to include her? She's not a single mother.
Say no to bike riders.
See, this is the.
If they don't go no more than run for your life.
That would change the whole dynamic for the rest of the world.
Run, baby.
Right. We were made to be with each other. We are social beings.
No to single mothers.
Herbs. That's all you gotta do.
Like riders.
Say no to single mothers.
Without engines.
The bluebirds in your
Let's be real.
Yeah, but you said
there's just certain things
that because if we taught.
Tell me I'm wrong.
If we taught
tell me I'm wrong.
Ladies
I want one of y'all to tell me that you can teach your son to be a nurturer.
For everybody.
Be honest. David,
without engines.
It's so much going on. You got Herb selling the acapella singing, and there's so much going on. And I'm like, so I'm like, man, I can't even hear it. But listen.
I had to bring some smoke.
And that's no.
You didn't bring any smoke. You had no meat on the grill. All you trying to do is start a fire.
His bike ain't bringing no.
But you know what though? But you know what though?
I had to bring stuff.
But you ladies know what? You'll have your opportunity to bring all the smoke you want to. Believe me. And I hope you're ready for it.
Like that room full of dicks. Where was the ass whooping on the 8th you promised? Where was the ass whooping? Because that room full of dicks was scared to talk.
Okay, they wouldn't even let me in. They wouldn't even let me in. Any woman come up
still waiting for my ass whooping.
They was ready to run.
Exactly. You bring a woman on here, I'm leaving. Damn, it's like that.
Dietrich asked the question. He said, how did single mothers become a single mother?
I love how a man is raised by a single mother. That just amuses me. How are you raised by a single mother, but then you tell other men not to date a single mother? When that single mother probably bent over backwards to do everything that she could to make sure that you were provided for.
Right, already trying to
bent over backwards.
And then I'm curious, I'm with Dietrich. How many of them made single mothers? None of them answered that question.
Herb, can you stop humming? Because we're having a conversation and that's rude.
You guys can't have a conversation if 3 of you are talking at one time. That's just called banter.
Manners. I get that shit.
It's called banter. You can't have a conversation with multiple people talking because nobody's listening.
That's
So
not
can it
true.
with that nonsense.
I hear a little what Toya's saying, and I hear you humming, so I can hear.
Yes, but you didn't respond. So where's the conversation?
I just told
Thank you.
please stop humming so we can hear.
It wasn't me. Those two at the bottom, Brolic and Lakia, are speaking 100 miles a minute, which proves
Yup.
Dave's point that
Yup.
that we
Who cares?
covered
That's
this
not even a
before,
bad
and they
thing.
it's still the same talking points. Nothing different.
Wait a minute. What did he say? I missed that because somebody just called
He
me.
said
But let
we
me
were
say
talking
this.
a mile a minute. You know,
Oh no, I'm not talking about
actually
no.
in
But
my
I
ear,
do
I
want
just
to
kind of heard
answer
womp 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 womp. But you know,
Deidre's
Let me preface this
question.
by saying there's and no absolute.
Well, I was a single
exactly.
mother, and I'm not ashamed because my son's 28 years old. I was a single mother at 16 years old. Okay, and listen, no shame in my game, but I'm proud of my son. I did a great job as a mother, and we grew up together. But I promise you, that young man is great. He got 7 awards in Japan since he's been in there. Because guess what? I taught him I disciplined him. I taught him how to be a good man. His father went to jail for 16 years. His father's side of the family helped raise him as well. So big ups to his grandmother, his aunt. It was a village that took to raise that young man. So very proud of him. So I don't have no regrets. My second child, I was about to get married, got pregnant. He didn't want me to have her. He wanted me to get an abortion. And I was going to. But I said, there was a whole nother experience that I had, spiritual experience, and Lord said, do not. And I didn't. And I kept her. And that child, she's in college right now, Albany University, studying law, about to graduate. I'm an awesome mother. I pat myself on the back. But not to take away that I did get married when I met when my daughter was 2. I got married. I was hoodwinked, bamboozled. I say Plymouth Rock I didn't land on Plymouth Rock. Plymouth Rock landed on me. So I say that because I fell for the okie doke. I fell for something that wasn't real. It was not true. And so I had to ask myself, and I shared this before, am I going to continue to stay in this marriage and die mentally, die physically? I mean, abusive mentally, by being abused mentally, and allow my children to be abused mentally? I had to ask myself, am I going to keep living like this, or I'm going to run for my life and live? And I had to say to myself, I can do good by myself. Not bad, I can do good by myself because I've already shown myself I've been doing good from the jump. Whoever connect with me, we always going to do good if you choose correctly.
Say
So
that
I
again.
said, listen, it's time to go. Me and him, he already knew I was going. Didn't do nothing behind his back. He said, you leaving, aren't you? I said, yes, I am. And I took Pat, and everybody thought I was a fool. But guess what? This was stacking chips, boo. And he didn't think I can live without him. And guess what? I'm
I love
living
how men
without
think that women can't survive without them. Y'all just
him.
don't
Let me
know.
tell
We
you,
are what make
a woman
y'all
like
shit
me, you
run.
can't hold down. So all that nonsense you talk about, single women can't do, what men can't do. I don't need a man to take care of none of mine.
And it's the problem with that was dealing with the talking point, like why we so got a personal vendetta toward each other when we really can grow together if
Well, we can't grow together.
Stop. It's
so
about
many-
growing with the right person. And a lot
Right.
of times people get with somebody that they shouldn't be with for random and various reasons instead of being with a person for the right reasons. Being with a person because you guys are like-minded, you like some of the same things, you have some of the same hobbies. This is somebody who has some future goals like you. Some people get into these relationships with somebody who's their total fucking opposite. And then you end up in situations where it's like, oh, men ain't shit, women ain't shit. Well, you were the one who decided that you wanted to go with somebody that had absolutely nothing. You had nothing in common with. You just liked their physical appearance, and that was what drew you, and that was all that mattered. But their core values of who they were, you didn't take the time to figure that shit out. And now you want to sit up there and be like, oh, she ain't shit because this, that, and the third. She was telling you she wasn't shit from the door. You just was blinded by that big ass bouncing booty. Whose fault is that?
mm, mm, mm.
Exactly.
Well,
Yeah, I
Same
forgot
thing
what
for
I was going to
women.
say now.
Same thing for women, because women are equally as fucked up. We'll get with a dude because he got a big dick and he can lay pipe. We throw all that other shit out the window, and
In the
then
dick
it's like
stand.
this motherfucker ain't worth a hill of beans. But he was letting you know from the door he wasn't worth that hill of beans. But you was blinded by the fact that he could lay you down and make you feel good.
In
But
the dick
then
stand.
when that feel good wear off and all that nigga do is make you feel bad, you like, what the fuck did I get into? Why? Why did I do this to myself? Because you didn't ask the right questions.
And
On
I
that
think
date between Herb and Anita, this is when she need to be getting all in his business. How were you raised? Where are you from? What schools did you go to? These are the kind of questions you need to be asking, because this will tell you a whole lot about a motherfucker.
Good luck with that.
You will find out a whole lot. And the fact that he's reluctant to talk, that tell you to walk from the table. That's somebody that you don't want to deal with, because he's got some deep-seated issues, and that shit gonna pop out on you, and you're gonna be like, what the fuck?
And to me, that's what
I'm 49 with deep-seated issues, but yet and still I've managed to steer straight and clear. So what does that kind of tell you about me?
it's a what?
One like hell. Serial killer.
I said I'm 49 with some
Run for your
deep-seated
life.
issues, but I've
for your
never been to
life.
jail. I've managed to stay straight and clear. So what does that tell you about me?
Run for
You
your
know,
life.
I saw a quote. I saw a
Emotionally,
quote.
mentally abusive. You're a couple different things under the sun.
I'm gonna tell you what it is.
Because that's a whole
Scared
nother topic.
person. A person with fear. They scared to move and they scared to be successful. And you never go anywhere. You fear. That's what you are. A fearful person, scared to do something with your life. In the house, hiding behind four walls. A man that's out there that doesn't operate out of fear. He doesn't mean you have to go to jail. So I'm not saying that.
He ain't got
But
shit to hide.
what kind of risk
So
are
some
you
basic
taking in
ass
your
questions
life?
is not gonna run him off, and he's not gonna sit there and look at you and stare.
Are you the person that just sit still and wait for stuff that will just sit around and just scared to move? You no success.
So let me get this right.
Especially with a bike that didn't got no engine.
Let me get this right. And that doesn't even bother me. So I don't know why you even try to throw that shit out there. But anyway, let me break this down for y'all. How is a man scared when he's ran for political office 4 times?
Scared.
He volunteered. Hold on. He volunteered mentors.
The price of tea in China.
Anita, be quiet, please.
No.
Be quiet, please.
No.
Be quiet.
But
How is a
why?
man scared when he's ran for political office 4 times?
How you gonna say be quiet?
He's in the public eye. He volunteers mentors at a school. Where's the fear? Because I live my life according to my own desires and wishes. That's fearful.
At a school.
You got to come with some better shaming techniques.
And then you mentor.
You gotta come with some better shaming techniques. They're my elementary. Them don't even work on a man like me.
Adults get shit together in their life. You helping kids get shit together in their life. That still says a lot about you.
I'll put it to you like this. If any kid follows my example, guess what they grow up to be? A fully functional, actualized adult. That's what they grow up to be.
Single 49 without a partner.
All right.
That's what they grow up to be.
I was told to let it go back and forth, whatever, but y'all know sooner or later we gotta come to an end.
And the reason
they mad that they can't move me off of Plymouth Rock.
No, ain't nobody there.
Sorry. So personal, so sad, so sorry. I ain't moving.
I already moved you on Plymouth Rock.
I'll tell you what.
I can do it.
He's moved.
I already moved you on Plymouth Rock. You already showed your full hand.
Stop. Just listen.
I'm not even bothered
That's
by
one of your problems. You don't listen. You want to hum your Bluebird song and not listen to other people.
So
I can't take y'all. Wait, listen.
I know about him just from him running his mouth.
Listen, we about to have
a single mother, and I'll tell you why I take offense to not dating single mothers, because it sounds like you're punishing women for being single mothers.
No,
wait a minute. Wait a minute. Didn't Volunteer say? Wait a minute. Didn't Volunteer say it's okay to disregard a man like me because I don't take up the time So how
That's
can I
what
punish
that
somebody
is.
if it's
That's
okay
what
to
that is.
oversee me?
That's childhood
Make
trauma
up
at
your mind.
its
Y'all
best.
confused.
That's
Listen.
childhood
It's not
trauma
okay
at
to
its
teach
Y'all
best.
young boys.
confused.
That's
Say
childhood trauma at
no.
its best. Yo, it
Say
is what it
no.
You're
is.
so ignorant.
He's never
Say
gonna
So
no.
admit that
ignorant.
he's got
To
childhood
single
trauma. And that's
mothers.
just, you know what? That's the first step to
Say
healing.
no.
All
Right?
a joke.
Say
Right?
no.
When we tell our opinion,
Say
it's a joke because you got a
no.
hum
Say
to
no.
distract your mind about
Listen.
what we're
Hold
saying.
on. Hold on. Let me say this. Whatever. I want to read Dietrich comment. He said, "Wisdom from the Honorable Elijah Mom." He said, "There is no such thing as a no good woman. It takes a no good man to make a no good woman."
Sure
And
do.
I agree with that. I agree.
Sure do.
I agree wholeheartedly with that statement.
Men who will turn
Okay,
a good
well,
woman into
I
I
would
a
say
agree.
bad one.
women
Turn us
ain't
into
bad
I agree.
women.
That is most definitely true. It take a fucked
I
up man
agree.
to make
You
a
get
good
no
woman a
pushback.
bad
You get no
woman.
pushback from me. But see, the problem is this: if I haven't created a single mother, then why am I the no good man?
You could have made a no good woman in another way, and it
If
doesn't
I have
necessarily
not
mean.
created a single mother, then why am I the no good man?
You know the crazy part is, how is being a
Yeah,
single mother
you
a
have
no
no
good
answer for
woman?
the question.
How
Thank
does
you.
Exactly what I was
being a single
saying.
mother equate to a no
Thank
good
you.
woman?
You
That's what
have
I
no
was
answer
saying
for the
before.
question.
How is being a
You
single
make
mother a no good
general
woman?
statements that aren't
That says a
applicable to
lot
me.
about you
This
right
is
there.
why I
But they
say, say
are
That says a
no,
lot about
you
you right there.
say
women,
no,
and you're teaching other
say no.
You're not saying
children
you're
not
single
to date
because nobody
single
All
wants to
right.
deal with your
All
kind of
right
crazy.
now.
That's what that
All right
is.
now. Listen.
No woman wants to deal
boy.
with your
I
kind of
almost drank
crazy.
a
That's
whole
why
bottle
you're
of
single.
wine dealing
You're
with
not
your
single by
ass.
choice. I promise you that.
Say no,
You're not single by
say
choice. I promise you
See,
no,
that.
now this is what
say
exactly what
no,
I'm talking about
And they like,
when
fuck
I
that.
no,
I ain't got the
say
time.
say getting to
no,
know somebody by casual
say
conversation,
no.
because he's, instead of listening, he's
I
being
don't know how to
disrespectful
have a
and
casual
humming,
conversation.
making
That's
a
how
mockery of everybody, of the females, of what we're saying.
Say
So
no,
whatever. Cheers.
say no.
Bottoms up.
All
Single mother,
I could do.
say no.
I'm a
No
positive
Cheers,
dating.
like
person.
I know, Dave.
That
Dump
shit
your
don't
life for
offend
men
me
that
at
ride
all. I
bikes
wear
and
my
don't have
shit with
vehicles.
pride.
To single mother.
That's all
All
I
right,
want.
Herb.
I'm
I would
just
never,
No dating
ever
in your life
recommend to
I'm a
be
with
single mother
men
that
that
send
doesn't
doesn't have
my
waste
vehicles.
son
time
to
for
a
dumb
mentor
bullshit like
to
from men
teach
like
them
you.
not to date a
I'm
single
good.
mother. That's just ignorant
Listen,
as
I
people.
hell.
don't need nobody in my space trying to mentally manipulate and fuck me over. I'm good. Because that's all her bringing to the table is emotional abuse.
Emotional manipulation.
Say no.
Herb is an emotional abuser. That's why he's
Say
single.
no.
Yeah,
Single mother.
among some other reasons
No
why.
men that ride bikes without
Say
motors.
He got
That's
childhood
all
traumas and he don't know how to cope.
To single
I'm about to
mother.
say no to single mothers. Say
Just
no to
say,
people that
just
Say
don't
say
know how
no
to
to
no.
drive.
49-year-old
Herb,
single
can we
men with no
close this
kids.
out? I got 4 kids to be there for tomorrow.
They're going to be running you ragged tomorrow.
Yeah, I got a whole school. I got 4 kids that I have to be there on time for tomorrow.
Hey, you know me, man. Growth and understanding the curse in the gray area. Godspeed. See you
Whatever.
next time.
You don't learn shit from the gray area,
Say
obviously.
no. Say
Anita,
no.
Double mind. Oh, go ahead.
That's why he live in the
That's all I
gray
got to
area.
say.
Mother.
That's why he live in the gray area. It's a hiding
Anita,
spot.
what's your closing statement?
I already said it.
What's
Herb
that?
don't know shit about learning from shit.
Okay. Okay.
Because he is not open-minded enough to be listening.
Mm,
If you ain't open-minded enough to listen, you ain't open-minded enough to grow.
okay.
So I love y'all.
Love you.
Smooches.
Toodles.
We just going in order. Brolic T.
I mean, same as usual. You know, be honest with yourself and others because nobody likes a liar. Just that simple.
But how can I
Herb
be
needs to
honest with
be
myself
honest
if
with
I
himself.
say no to single mothers and I start dating them? Come on now,
Because
that's
you're
a
lying to
contradiction.
yourself. Because
Because
I
you're
bet you
lying
the
to
right one come
yourself.
along,
You
girl,
What
ain't
if
you're
gonna
that
going
be
to
a
single
drop
single
mother
it
mother
like
gave
because
it's
a
you
hot.
said
single
you
Don't
gonna fuck with
fucking
mother?
somebody else,
lying
your
to
mama. Let's be
yourself.
real.
What
It's
if that
others
single mother got
that
grown
you do
ass
not want to
kids
date
and
a
still ain't
single
gonna
You
mother.
said
date
you
her?
gonna meet
That
If she got
lying.
kids?
Yeah, I realize what y'all sound like, right? Yeah, I know what y'all sound like.
Yeah.
You
Yep.
can't hear nothing.
Right.
Lakia, what's your
I,
closing comments?
It's a new one.
Herb ain't undefeated.
A double-minded man is unstable in all his ways.
That is a good one. That's a good one.
This is me dropping the mic.
Good one.
Yeah.
Mic drop.
Man, I'm gonna close it out, and I can say over and over, and it doesn't make or break me how this happens, but we could just see these conversations. We like so far off on certain things, and until we get to a point, how are we gonna grow for real? How are we gonna grow?
Not from experiences, apparently.
Not from teaching little boys.
We're gonna grow learning from books.
That's for sure.
And statistics from rigged surveys.
No, and we need to have continue.
I'm glad you had yourself a whole bottle.
And we
You
need to have
another whole bottle.
we need to have authentic conversation, open dialogue and conversations. And again, for people who just join us, no, I don't come on here act like, oh, I have successful relationships and all stuff like that. We're all work in progresses. I don't know anybody who has successful relationships. It doesn't matter if you got money, doesn't matter degrees and all that. Is human interaction and two people connecting and working towards the same common goals and building together. So there's no cookie cutter approach, like I say every week. So but the one thing we can do is have these conversations and talk about stuff, and we can see how Herb has his stance.
Well,
Single, don't date single women. But that may not be the answer for some guys, because they may be saying, man, this woman got it together. Or whatever the case is, we are right.
And that's why he shouldn't be mentoring boys on his point of view. They should be free to make their own decision about a single mother.
Well, I guess when you look at the whole mentoring thing, it depends on the content and the program you got it established. So, I mean, and in this day and time, it's a lot of people jump into that avenue, mentorship. But I guess also the parents have to screen it out too and just say, hey, I want to know who's mentoring my kid, and I want to find out background information or whatever the case is.
I want to know what they stand for.
And if Julia wanted to know.
Wait a minute. I can give you all that information if you want. I can make it public. I can make our platform public. I can make what our goals are public. I can make all of that public. It's written down. I don't hide that.
David.
I didn't say you did.
David.
You're insinuating that there's an ulterior
Julia
motive.
wanted to know.
Call it what you want.
To know if she could,
I ain't insinuating shit. I just said
clarify.
I would want to
You're
know
insinuating.
who
Nice try.
was mentoring my child and what they stand for. I said nothing about I want to know what you stand for mentoring my child, because I don't even have any children.
But the irony is you're taking up for people that do. I wonder why.
Okay. Because I don't think it's oh, Jesus.
Yeah, say
Lord.
fair. Go ahead and so I can break that fair over the coals.
Lord Jesus.
Yeah.
Okay,
I don't,
you had a
the
question.
funny thing about this is y'all keep talking about Lord Jesus. I don't remember anything in the Bible that says anything about single mother homes.
Yeah. Mary was a single mother technically, but she
and I've already addressed the Mary Magdalene
so maybe she wasn't
last week. So try again.
And
he did marry
so
her, so maybe not that one.
Women's fault that they're single.
Hold on. Before we get to that, acapella or whatever.
And she wasn't a single mother anymore. So he broke the guy code and married his
He was a single mother.
Yeah, ridiculous.
Oh boy,
Joseph broke the code and married a single mother.
Okay, let me ask David. Could Julia? She wants to know if she can come on and clarify something that she had put. She said, "Is it too late, or would you allow her to come on?"
She want to come on now. I mean, the thing is in the that's up to y'all. I mean, what time is it? 11. We get out here at 11:30, so she can come on. Somebody send her the
You got the
The
link?
stream that he just posted it.
I was on there. I mean, I listen to you. Why am I not on there?
Give me the rest, man.
You have to go to the link.
I was on this. I don't know how I got bounced off. I'm about to go on his page and.
Was that somebody speaking, trying to get in, or?
She said,
Okay,
I think
I'm
she's
on
in
it.
it. She's on the thing. She's on it. Like, you'll let her come in? She's on my phone.
No, she has to click the link to come in through StreamYards.
She says she's in there, so you don't see her in there in the StreamYard?
No. She has to be in the, what the link does is the link brings you to the background chat.
Yeah, I don't think she knows that. She doesn't know that. But yeah.
John from America. I forgot to acknowledge you. What's good, brother? Yeah, waiting for her to come on.
Anwar says single mothers got them bedroom skills. Hey.
So I guess she's coming on now. I don't know. I sent her the link, but it's quiet.
Yeah, we can't have dead air to be waiting for someone. So next time we gonna have to say, join in next time. That's what's gonna happen. I got 4 kids to get to work on time tomorrow. Do y'all understand that? 4.
Them four kids are gonna be there when you get there, and they're gonna be ready to jump all over you and your nerves.
Actually,
I'm
being facetious, whatever. I only saw one of them today. So they're autistic kids, but they had the opportunity to come to school first or whatever.
I love those.
So I didn't even have a chance. But tomorrow I might make it my business to go by the classroom just to say hi to them. Today was just like being in the fog. All right. Julia ain't came on yet. We about to go.
I sent her the link.
All right, I'm about to get out of here.
Where are you at?
Toodles. Bye, everybody.
She on the phone again?
See you.
Yeah, we
All right.
On the phone again?
Is she in there?
I was about to say she clicked the link and take her straight backstage. She might have a
She here.
Am I here?
Yeah, you here. How you doing?
Hey, everybody. Good evening. Good evening. I'm gonna be brief. Good evening. I have enjoyed I enjoyed the conversations. I can say it has definitely degrees, all kind of emotions. But what I wanted to say, I mean, emotions, thoughts, and all kind of things that hit all kind of areas. But what I wanted to say was, my question wasn't directed to trying to figure out why, in fact, the person will or will not get married, nor wasn't directed at marriage at all. For we have 2 men on the panel who are educated, who have taken bunch of courses, have studied human nature and the mind. Have you guys come to the table with your own experience? I hear Mr. Lewis giving reference to things that he have read and things that he understands to be things that he believed to be fact. That is his truth. I've heard Mr. Glover say things as well. And so I asked this Lakia, I posed the question to you guys. I mean, I don't know how this is supposed to work. You guys just talk and people listen? Do they engage? You know what I'm saying? I asked this Lakia, I didn't know the dynamics of things. So because if you guys usually be talking to other folks, no one usually responds to the questions. But my thing was, with all that you have gathered, and I'm 52, so I've come to the table with a bunch of stuff. My kids are 20 and 27. So I can come to the table and talk to them about, I say I know a little bit about a bunch of things. I haven't mastered nothing, but this one thing I do know. You understand? So my question was, after all your getting, because it says upon all your getting, you get an understanding. You got to understand, you got knowledge, and you speak from what you believe to be. Your truth is your wisdom, right?
Mhm.
So all the things that you have learned about women and relationships and the complexity of human nature, what has that helped you to be better men to the women in your life? It could be a mate, it could be a significant other, to your sister, to your mother, to your daughter, to your boss, to your co-worker. You understand? Like how has that happened? That's what I wanted to know.
I'm gonna answer that, and this is a heartfelt thing, whatever. That sometimes, my mother is sweet as pie. She can be annoying, and she probably listening unless she fell asleep. But she even says, she was like, you know what, you become a better person since you start talking about certain things that bothered you in your life, and being able, because like I said to anybody, I'm normally a quiet person. This has never been in my realm to even hold anything like this. So she's seen the growth, and she's like things are better because you're getting stuff out there. Now, that's just a step forward. Now, I never pretended or never went on to say like, oh, listen to me, I'm Steve Harvey, do this and do that. I just look at it as, if we were in a lounge area and people came in and we had a topic of discussion, and we all talk about it. But of course, you have to have somebody to facilitate these conversations.
Yeah.
So that's how I look at it.
I wanted to make sure because I am Herb, Mr. Lewis. Can I call you Herb? Because I've heard people refer to you as that.
Yes.
People, you said that. I want to be clear because I'm some things I'm concrete about. You don't know me, and I know of you guys, but I really don't know you like that. You know what I'm saying? I haven't been in an intimate setting with you guys. So except for this cyber world, So I'm saying to you, I'm a person. I speak what I think and what I feel. I don't try to do subliminals. I don't try to imply things. I try to come direct to a person. We'll bring in sense of humor and all of that. So I said my thing wasn't about it wasn't an undercut to you. To either of you, it is, if you gathered all this information, your experience, and you come to the table. Everybody has taken psychology courses. I think they should. People haven't studied sociology. People haven't had experiences outside of the folks that they know. They may have never even left Niagara Falls. You understand? I'm saying with your wisdom, with your knowledge, and with your education, how has that helped you? And that was my thing. Not implying that you have the show, now you about to be the relationship guru, because that's not what you guys talk about on the day-to-day basis. I think I hope that I didn't imply that. I hope that wasn't implied.
You're good, Julia. How it helped me was to listen to get understanding from different people, perspectives, and to also let people know we all come from different walks of life. So there is a lot of gray areas in all of this, that certain circumstances you may respond a certain way, but you also can grow from what other people say. And I think all too often we're used to a subset of people, and that's where we get our knowledge base from, and we never hear anybody else say anything else, so we never grow. So and we're all stuck in quicksand because of that. But when you open up your minds to say, man, that person said something deep that had me thinking, like, man, that is right, whatever. Then you start peeling the layers of that onion away, and you like start opening up a little bit and say, man, it's a whole nother world out there. So that's always been my mission when I even wrote my book, Cocktail Conversations, to have dialogue so we can open up and we can have conversations to start talking about this stuff, because certainly social media has played a factor in a lot of people just talk, text, chat, inbox, and all that, and we don't have open dialogue that we can visually see each other and talk. And then the pandemic didn't help. That might have set people back as
Absolutely.
well. So,
And again, that's a huge chunk of that nonverbal, not seeing each other. I want to say this. I want to let you guys go because it's past your time. But my son was here. My 27-year-old son. He was picking up my grandson from me, and he's in, he got his relationship going on, all of this, and he's in a house with his mother and blah 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 blah. And today he stopped in his tracks. He put the baby down, and he was here for half an hour listening to the podcast. This is the podcast, right?
Yes.
Okay. He sat here and he was like, "Ma, hey, that's Sister Lakia. Well, who's that?" And it was his language. He heard you guys and he understood you. And listen, I said, "You what? I know you ain't agreeing with these dudes, dude. Like he was my that's my, but he understood your language, and this is my thing. The conversation is important. It's so important that people have made millions and millions and millions of dollars about the differences between men and women, how we reason. They're not concerned about the black man or the black woman or the Latino and the difference between how men reason and how women reason. We don't all reason from emotions, but we reason from a place. Some people reason from a place of pain, a place of hurt, a place of fear, a place of whatever the case may be, a place of hunger. You let a person starve, they're going to reason from a place of hunger. But he understood the reasoning that when you guys were talking, each of you. And I was like, this is my son. I sideballing him like, you know what? Maybe I should pay a little bit more attention so I can understand him, because I want him to understand me. And prior to today, I can give a rat's ass what he was thinking. Okay. But it's important that I need to hear my son. I need to understand him.
Let me interrupt you, dear. That's why I asked the very first question that I did, is if you could give something intangible to the opposite gender, what would it be? And now we're seeing that manifest because she said she didn't care, and now she's open and she understands that in order to get something, she has to give something. She's given her time and her attention and her patience to understanding her son. So now in turn, she will receive something. When I ask a question, it's not a loaded question. It's a question to open the flower. But y'all often complain about how men don't have empathy, how we don't feel. That's because you reason with your emotions and not with your intellect. Thank you. Hat off, mic drop, I'm out.
Yeah, ready him off again. Oh God.
But women are the emotional ones. I'm just saying.
Right.
All I'm saying is listen. All I'm saying is this. Listen. All I'm saying is this. Please, when you understand something, understand this. If you think that you can see people, understand that people see you. If you think you have discernment, insight, psychic ability, you have wisdom and knowledge that you're able to look at a person and make assumptions and put them in categories and prejudge folks. Understand that people are going to do that to you. So you cannot, you don't elicit a conversation with people with anger. Sometimes that I guess that works in different situations. But if you want to have a dialogue and you want to be heard and understand, you have to come with people in a peaceful manner, and you have to speak to people that the words that speak peace. You can have a conversation, interesting conversation. It can be peaceful. It doesn't have to be this antagonist. I mean, every story doesn't have an antagonist. I don't believe so. Every story, I don't believe so. Well, I could be wrong. I'm not a literary person, but I don't think that you have to argue and bump heads all the time. Men and women should be able to sit down and reason about something.
Definitely.
People should be able to sit down and reason about something. How can we get anything accomplished?
That's my whole point. To have these conversations, you're gonna have your bumps in the road, but sooner or later you have to break down these conversations and see what people are thinking. Even when we had the all-male panel, That's
I
from a
checked out. I
that's
checked
a
out the brothers. I liked my dude from Canada, Pastor Dutchie on the left hand side. I enjoy the brother from I think he was from I think he was from
Yeah,
California.
California.
Yeah, I mean I listen to I get people I try to understand where a person is coming from. Okay, this is what you believe to be. So let me listen. This is what I try to. Now, when it comes to my son, I'll be like, he's still my baby. I'm trying to transition my mind that he is somebody's father. Okay, I'm not all the way there. But I try to hear people for where they're at, when you are outrightly offensive to a person, when you offend somebody, how the hell do you expect somebody to want to talk to you? You didn't slap them in the face. You didn't said these things, and this is what you think and believe, and you don't understand. You can't hear that you're being negative, that you are saying things that doesn't sow seeds. It doesn't sow seeds of communication, understanding. No, it doesn't. It doesn't. I like this young lady. You came in like a pit bull. I mean, you came guns blazing. I mean, you was like,
Brolic
first of all, I
King.
got one thing to say. It was funny. It was funny. It was funny, but it was truthful. And it was raw. I mean, I like it was raw.
Listen, I don't
Thank
call
you.
myself the controversial counselor for no reason. I like these dialogues, whatever. I like it to get heated, but I still want people to learn and grow from the conversations. And this is something that's pushing me. It's like I said, typically I'm a quiet person, but
Yeah, we have to
also
drag shit out of David.
Hey, if your mom, let me tell you something. Your mom is quiet. Knew Miss Ernestine very, Miss Grace from Miss Ernestine for years. That was her. Don't come over here trying to correct people and stuff. Girl at the top, girl. That's Miss Ernestine, best friend. We know Miss Grace a long time. Long time. Always was a quiet person, very ladylike, very mannerable, just a very upright woman. I mean, she's just a sweetie pie, but quiet times. But if your mother says to you, my Louise Jefferson voice, nigga, you didn't change up. Wait a minute now. Like, wait a minute. That is something for your parent to notice the change in you. She sees that you a better man. Like that's what she's saying. You are a better man. I mean, that's kudos.
and I just think it's something that we all have to challenge ourselves to do something and push ourselves to do something greater than what we normally been doing. So this is, as far as in my counseling realm and stuff like that, it's always important to me for us to have these conversations and start talking about it. And as much as the riffraff and people going back and forth, I can guarantee something resonated in each individual head who tuned in. I got somebody coming at my throat. Oh, John from America, I'm calling you out because you know damn well I invite you in this show every time we post the link and all that stuff. I can't. It's impossible.
John just be late to the party a lot of times.
Yeah, I can't monitor every aspect, but I don't have no discrimination. I don't care who you're from. If you want to come in, we post the link 3 or 4 times. So I'm sorry you feel that way, and if you don't come on, but I also understand too that sometimes you're gonna get a lot of smoke and heat. You're gonna get some opposition, and people may not say, "Oh, I don't want to hear what they got to say." But all it takes is one person to listen and can say, "Damn, something that resonated." So it's always good and bad with everything. I just think this is the way of the world now with these different platforms, and we can get used to it, and we got these conversations, and hopefully we can learn and grow from things that has been said. Despite, and I ain't about to say no acapella. Get used to it. Get used to it. Get used to it. I ain't about to do all that.
They know that bitch has a moves.
Oh man, I enjoy y'all, and I appreciate all of y'all, people that come on, people that chat in there. I truly do, whatever. And it keeps me going. And I look forward to the next conversation because that's what it's all about, relationship building at the end of the day. Everything is about relationship building. I don't care what anybody, every aspect of life is about relationship building. Understand that. Single-handedly, that's one of the most important things in life, relationship building.
And guess what? Guess what? The big companies found out about that too, didn't they? Didn't they? Everybody who got a marketing consultant found that. Guess what? Those relationships are very important. You have a product, you have a relationship with your customer. How about that? And everything. What happened? Everything went up. Yeah, relationships is good. You should have a relationship with either with your employees, with your significant other, with your family members, with your children. Those things, it's important to be able to communicate, to be an effective communicator, not just a communicator, but an effective communicator. You know, try to be a hearer and a listener and a doer.
Okay. Oh, thank you, Mama Maybell. Okay, it's time to get off this. It's time to shut things
You know
down.
what? First of all, I thought she was a guest too. Okay, I thought she was a guest too. You know what? I'm
Okay,
sorry,
Mama
I came
Maybell.
up. She don't want nobody shining up on here, girl. She want to be the elder, because I came with the wisdom and the knowledge, and I came with
No, I came with smoke.
I got
today.
that covered.
Smoke and
You
popcorn.
did. You sure was. You was guns and blazing too. I heard you. You was red honey. Don't talk about the single parents, honey, because you could have never thought, honey. And I don't know why you didn't tell me that your son is in the Air Force. How about that?
How about
He's
that?
not all the statistics that you slashed up for. That baby,
that?
no baby. He has no children. He's educated.
How about that?
Honey,
None of my kids. I'm not even a grandmother yet. How about that?
How about that? Went to college. All of that, honey. All of that. We're very respectful and handsome and not corny.
As we can see, we don't. We already know how these conversations gonna go from here on out. But
how about that?
At the end of the day, stuff is still gonna come out, whatever. So
that's what I mean. Listen, you know we family. We
all day long.
We got all kind of stuff in the family. It's all kind of members in the family.
We are family. Family. We are family. We about to get out of here. We about to go. I got 4 kids to see tomorrow. I gotta be there on time. Got to go.
I enjoyed myself, Gooch.
All right.
Thank y'all.
No worries. Y'all be good, be safe, and I'll talk to y'all for the next episode. Thursday we'll be back live. We'll see what that brings to the table. All right.
Next
episode. Next time, Julia.
I'm first of all, I was here. I was incognito. I was incognito listening on the low. Okay. All right, babe.
All right. Thanks for y'all joining. I'll talk to y'all soon. Be good.
For shizzle. Great week, everybody.
All right.
Good night. Bye.